This is ABL Live. My name is Anthony Brown Logan, your host. We have quite a few topics tonight. We're talking about Milo Yiannopoulos on Bill Maher. We're talking about Donald Trump and the Congressional Black Caucus, the so-called racist question that he asked her. We're talking about the Immigrant March, and we're talking about whatever else is on your mind. I will be opening the phone lines up in a few minutes here. I'm just trying to gain an audience. Whoever you know that wants to see this, post this on their page, share it on your social media, give me some thumbs up, and give me some comments in the box. I have a new feature. It's called Super Chat. If you see on the actual comments in the chat section, you'll see right next to the emoji underneath your name, there will be a $sign right there. You can contribute whatever kind of money you want, and it will show up in the chat. Therefore, it'll show up in the actual chat box once I go live with my face and video. So give me some feedback, guys. I see you guys in the chat talking. How does my sound? How's everything going? Let me know about that. I'm trying to get a little bit of feedback. If everything sounds good, let me know in the box. I see you in there, Donnie Curry. I see you in there, Azif. I see you in there, Terrence. Hillbilly Swart. What's going on, man? Live from the holler. All right. Come on, Waste. You're asking me very deep questions now. We ain't even started the show. You're asking me very deep questions. Without further ado, go ahead and roll it. What's going on with your Emmy Makus, if I pronounce your name correctly? All right, sounds good. That's what's up. I was on Facebook. What was that? Last night, I tried to go live and the sound was horrendous. Yeah, the video is not going to be on for about another couple minutes. I'm just trying to gain an audience right now. But you guys can hear me live. I'm also going to share this on a few pages. So I'm just doing a little bit of behind the scenes work at the moment. Shout out to everybody in the building. Thank you all for being here. Definitely appreciate you. 100%. This is like the highlight of my week. Being able to talk to y'all, you know. I definitely appreciate you. The Bill Maher interview with Milo Yiannopoulos was great. I enjoyed how triggered Larry Wilmore got when they were talking. What's going on, Turkalicious? Mikey likes it. The phone calls will be open pretty soon. I just want to let you know this is Anthony Brown Logan. My name is Anthony Brown Logan. You're watching ABL Live. What's going on, Tania? I see you in there. It's your song. Alrighty. Thank you for joining me. I definitely appreciate you. We got a ray of sunshine in the chat. That's what's up. I appreciate that. 100%. Alrighty, Lakeisha Walker, I see you. Shout out to Lakeisha. Linda St. Julian. How about thinking? What's going on? How about that? Lanny Gaudet. Alrighty. Hey, Donnie, it ain't too hard, you know, to do the live streaming. It takes a little bit of a learning curve to understand how to use the programs and whatnot, but once you get it, you got it. All right, I think I'm good now. I'm gonna go ahead and jump on camera here. There we go. Hello, everybody. My name is Anthony Brown Logan. You're watching ABL Live right here on YouTube. Today is Saturday, February the 18th, 2017. This year's been flowing by very quickly here. I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of a church announcement here. I have a new feature to my channel. If you have donated to me before using that blue button, that's now gone. What they're doing now on YouTube is they have Super Chat. And if you look in the chat, under your name, you'll see emojis, but you also see a $sign right there. Now, if you want to donate to this channel, you can push that button and then send Super Chat. You can type something, you can donate some money or whatever at the same time, and then that'll show up on the actual screen here. Now, I have this on the screen coded, so I'm not quite sure how it's going to show up, but the first person to do it, you'll see your name be up there, and it'll look a little bit different than everybody else's. It may be highlighted with a green background or something like that. So that's a new thing we got going on. And also Patreon. If you're not on my Patreon yet, please do so if you can. If you can't, that's all good. That's patreon.com/Anthony B. Logan. All the links to my donation and everything will be in the box below. But we got a lot going on right now. I just wanted to get a few announcements out the way first before we open the phone lines. My Skype is not on, so if you've been trying to call, I'm sorry, but it's not even on right now. But I'm gonna turn it on in about 20 seconds here. Milo was definitely a great interview. I definitely appreciated that, but I'm definitely looking forward to hearing you guys' thoughts about that, about the news from the week. All right, my Skype is now on. The number to call is 434-658-1220. What's going on? The other T, Tania. All right, Donnie Curry. See, you're the first one to do it. Now we're going to see how that looks on the actual screen. As you can see right over here, it should be right there. Yeah, I'm disorienting it. But you'll see it right there on the screen. You'll see his name, and it has like a blue background on it. Shout out to Donnie Curry for the donation. I definitely appreciate you. 301, you're online. Who am I speaking to?
Oh, Anthony, how you doing there today? This is Kevin calling from D.C.
Kevin, what's going on with you, man?
Nothing much. Glad to be first in line.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I know it's kind of hard to get in, man, but you got in. That's what's up.
I know, right? Anyway, yeah, just like you were saying earlier, that interview with Milo Yiannopoulos was amazing. Yes. It was so great seeing how triggered those two guys were. I don't even know that guy's name. Nance, whatever his name is, so pompous, thinking just because it was a CIA agent or whatever he was, that he could talk to Milo the way he was talking to him. And Mr. Larry Wilmore, actually, I thought he was funny during Obama's the press. Whatever that press event they usually do, the one he performed at, I thought it was funny there. Some of his jokes were, kind of uncomfortable, but it was surprising to see him all triggered yesterday, and
Yeah, but, that was fun to see him triggered like that. That was like the highlight of it, because they did not know how to handle him. Because anybody that is from the right, I feel like they got like a set rule of a set amount of key terms they try to use at him. They try to say, "Oh, you're sexist, you're racist, you're homophobe, you're xenophobe." But here you go, Milo. He's not even an American, so he's from somewhere else. He's an immigrant, really. If he's over here in the United States, he's not even an American. He's really undocumented. It was funny to see the guy talking about, "Oh, you're not American? F off." Well, what if he was an undocumented, what I like to call undocumented worker from Mexico? He wouldn't say that, then, now would he?
Exactly. And I really thought Milo was so. I don't think Milo was in his element that night, but he still handled himself very well, But I think if Milo was on his top A game that night, he would have. Those guys would have lost it completely.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, and from the little he did do, they were pretty much just they were out of their element. They did not know how to handle that situation. It was really funny to see.
Yeah, and I'm so done with Bill Maher. I used to watch him 5 years ago and just stopped. I just gave up. He's just all he knows how to do is just open his mouth, curse, and say conservatives are racist. That's all he knows how to do.
Correct.
But anyway, it was the first time in 5 years for me tuning in last night to watch Bill Maher. I actually signed up. I have my Amazon Fire Stick. I subscribed for HBO for 1 week free trial just to watch Milo. But anyway, it was a good show. And again, congratulations on the 100K. I know it's past that celebration anyway, that celebration of milestone, but congratulations again. And looking forward to the great show. I'll be on live.
Sounds great, man. Thank you for the call and the support as always.
Thanks, sir.
All right, then. Take care.
All right. Take care.
Hey, before I get to my next call, thank you to all the donators. I did not expect y'all to just react so quickly. I just wanted to announce a new feature. I definitely appreciate all of y'all for doing that. You guys mean a lot to me. I definitely appreciate y'all for that. 586, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, Anthony, it's Azeth. What's going on?
Azeth, what's going on with you, man?
Nothing. I was calling just specifically, like, I haven't seen you say anything about it, but have you heard about the whole scapegoat gate with Flynn, with the people with, goodness gracious, is it, I think Lewis and Pelosi went on about how we need to investigate this and look into this legal thing, and ended up being like a fake Twitter account they were referencing?
Yeah, I saw that. I saw some of it. I did not see it in depth, but I did see like the like a clip of them referencing the fake tweet. That was crazy.
Yeah, you know, it was just amazing. Like, amidst all, like, you would think they would just take a minute, like, with all the fake media, you know, fake news going around, just take a quick moment and be like, let's see where this, you know, tweet's coming from, and nope, and just take the ball and run with it. We don't care if we're running off a cliff. We're gonna take the ball and run with it.
Exactly.
But yeah, it was interesting to see that. And then, what did you think about the whole Flynn? You did a video on it. Did you think, because this is my perspective, I mean, I think he you know, there's the people saying he gave into the media pressure, he being Trump, but I just think that there was legitimately something wrong, and that in order to just make sure none of it comes out later or bites the whole group, you know, the Trump party, like, in the butt, you know, they were just going to try and deaden it now, because I don't see him giving into media pressure just based on media pressure alone.
Well, the thing is, I think he's trying to set a tone, because the only reason he did not fire him for the so-called collusion with the Russians, what happened was, it was the misinformation he gave to Mike Pence.
Correct.
That right there he agreed with, but the rest of it was not the problem. So I think he wanted to do that to set a tone for his own administration, not because of the left. Some of the left, they had something to do with it, of course, but it was not solely because they were talking about the Russians.
Correct, and that's what I think too. A lot of people were just saying, oh, you know, Trump already lost because he's giving into the media. But I'm like, you know, contrary to what a lot of leftists may think, like, the guy's not dumb, like, you know, so if he's making that decision, obviously it's because he knows something. You know, it's not like he's just, you know, getting up one day and I can't stand this Flynn guy, he's out.
Right. Exactly. That's what it was.
And I also don't see him backing down to the media just based on the pressure there. I think if anything, he would probably, especially if he knows he's right, or at least thinks he's right, he'd double down. You know, he wouldn't just wave the flag. So, you know, that's why I've been debating with just a lot of either like conservatives or kind of centrists about that. Like, oh, why would he do that? He showed weakness. I was like, he showed common sense and logic. You know,
yes.
I would argue that him not getting rid of him in light of this, you know, the facts that came out with, like you were saying with Pence, him, you know, sticking to that would be more detrimental.
I mean, I agree. The thing about it is, you know, you want Trump to be kind of a radical. You want him to kind of, you know, just not just do the status quo. But at the same time, you don't want him to be completely tyrannical and going off of the edge and just doing whatever he wants and not making any sense at the same time. You want him to be you want him to be sane at the end of the day, but not just a typical establishment guy.
Yeah, and I think one of the good things that is he's listening to his cabinet members, whether it's about, you know, or just understanding the law. Like, you know, his stance on abortion is he's pro-life, but he's not going to go against Supreme Court. Same thing with gay marriage. You know, he didn't even change his stance on torture, but he just said, I think torture is good, but General Mattis is a professional and he's the one in charge of it, so I'm going to honor what he says over my own opinion. That's what, you know, but again, a lot of people say, like, oh, well, now he's backing down. I was like, compromise is part of being a good president. You know, it's not, he doesn't want to be Obama, where if he doesn't like or doesn't get the support or doesn't, you know, they don't, you know, I'm just going to executive order the heck out of it, which is kind of Obama's philosophy.
Exactly.
Well, I won't keep you any longer. Thanks for having me, and I will enjoy the rest of the show. Maybe I'll give you another call in a little bit on my secrets as Seth line.
Thank you for the call and the support, man, as always.
Yep, later.
All right, then. Hey, shout out to all the donators again. I got some pesos in there. Shout out to my man from Mexico. Shout out to Terrence. Shout out to Clark Kent. I definitely appreciate all of y'all, man. Overwhelmed, I am. All righty, let's go to 775. You're on line. Who's speaking?
Hey, Anthony, this is Donnie Curry.
All right, Donnie Curry, what's going on?
Hey, brother. Hey, two things. Thanks for taking my call. I want to talk about the Immigrant March.
Yes.
It's I I can sum it up in a nutshell. If they took the march, they deserve getting fired. I don't care what they think. I'm sorry. This country is built on immigrants, not illegal aliens. It's as simple as that. People came here for since the beginning of our country to better their lives, did it the right way, and just because you came here and you've got a family, all right, don't separate them. Send them all back. I don't have any sympathy for the people that are here illegally. They don't deserve to have any rights, in my opinion. If my ancestors came here as debtors, prisoners, okay, they came here in 1710, owing the Queen. They did what they had to do to get property and land and get out from under that. My Irish heritage were slaves just as anybody else, and they were treated just as bad, if not worse. But we didn't sit there and cry about it. We pulled up our bootstraps, did what it took to be a citizen of this country, and every generation appreciates its stay here. We don't take anything for granted, and that's what the problem is our government has allowed that to happen so long that it's common occurrence.
Right. And it really has to, at a certain point, it's got to come to an end. It's got to be some kind of reform. It can't just be allowed just to happen like that consistently with no kind of interruption.
Exactly. And my 2 cents about Milo, I can never pronounce his last name properly. So I think he's spot on a lot of information that he doesn't incite riots. He doesn't incite hate. And I just love it when they call him a homophobic racist when he can't get any more gay than him, and he likes black people more.
Right.
I just find it amusing. And about Bill Maher, the last time Bill Maher was funny was in DC Cab, and that was in the early 80s.
Long time ago.
So I'll let you go, but I just wanted to put my 2 cents in. Thanks for giving us that forum, man, and it was worth the $2.
Hey, man, thank you for the call and a donation. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, back at you, bud. Bye.
All right, Dan, take care. Yeah, the Immigrant March, that was crazy. I saw a story where they said, I think it was 18 people got fired from their job because they participated in the Immigrant March. I mean, people want to say that's some kind of way like partisan, but at the same time, if you have a job and you just say, I ain't going to go, you're putting your job in jeopardy regardless of whether it's the Immigrant March or whatever it is. I mean, if you don't have no valid reason, you just don't show up for work just because you feel like you don't want to go. I mean, who does that and is able to keep their job all the time? If you work at McDonald's and you skip the fryer one day, you might get fired. So it is what it is. 860, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, Anthony, this is Jared from Vermont again.
All right, Jared from Vermont. What's going on with you?
Not much, man. 2 things. The Milo on Bill Maher. I saw that as literally them just looking for an excuse to make fun of Milo. I saw that they didn't want to talk to the guy on any actual issues. They just wanted to kind of like do little one-liner talking points and then move it along, get a joke, move it along. But when I thought it was very hypocritical for leftists to do when that so-called spy guy Malcolm was saying that Milo must be confused. Normally you would think a leftist would be freaking out, like, oh, how dare you call a gay person confused about their sexuality? But yeah. I guess hypocrisy only exists on the right side of the aisle, I suppose. But the other thing I was going to say is something else that I noticed from that Bill Maher episode was that they're now speaking about the Russian.
Can't hear you, boss. You got your phone covered up.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you now.
Okay. I was going to say they're now speaking about the Russian conspiracy now as if it's an actual fact. They're saying like they're no longer asking the question because I hadn't watched Bill Maher that much, but I watched a couple episodes over the weekend, and it seems that they're just nonstop just talking about this Russia thing. And I have yet to see any proof. I don't know if you found any proof that Russia had anything to do with the DNC hacks or WikiLeaks releasing any information they gathered from Russia. I haven't seen any proof of it. If you've seen any proof of it, you should do a video about it or tell me, or
right.
You've come across any. But I also want to know why the content of the emails that were leaked from the DNC aren't up for discussion, but the fact that they were actually, the emails were released. Like, they didn't want to talk about, Tim Kaine stepping down in 2011 as the DNC chairman, and then Debbie Wasserman Schultz being appointed, and then Debbie Wasserman Schultz having email exchanges with Hillary Clinton saying, oh, well, what can we do to work with you to get you the nomination? And then look at who Hillary Clinton picked as her campaign chair, as her vice president after she wins. She picked Tim Kaine.
Yep.
That came full circle real quick. Nobody seemed to care about the things in the emails like that, but they just seem to think that it's more important of where they came from instead of what they actually said. But on that note, I'll head out and let the phone calls going. Good luck. Keep going with the channel, man. You're doing a great job.
Thank you for the call and the kind words, man. Definitely appreciate it.
All right. Have a good one.
All right. Same
Bye.
to you. Hey, if anybody wants to be a moderator to help Azith out, please let me know in the chat. I'll make you a mod. I'll try to kind of monitor it the best I can, because we got a few trolls in the building. Not too many, but we got a handful. But that's fine. We'll get rid of them. Shout out to all the trolls. You shall be banished ASAP. Unknown number. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to? Unknown
Hello?
Number. Yes.
Oh, you're speaking to Tanya or Tania.
Okay, Tanya. How do I pronounce it?
Tanya.
All right, Tanya. What's going on?
I just wanted to talk about the CBC thing with Trump.
Yes.
I thought it was completely ridiculous how they twisted it to make it seem like he's racist somehow, when she said that she even knew people from the CBC. And the media completely spun the story.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it just goes back to this whole narrative that Trump is racist and that the left is pushing it so much. It's just, I don't know, I find it ridiculous. And I also wanted to touch on the fact that I don't see the media much talking about how the left is really destroying the family unit, especially like with the Women's March, how they were pushing abortion so much. And you see the government has so many programs that promote, single motherhood. And like, especially in New Zealand where I live, single motherhood is promoted so much, as well as abortions. And I don't know, it's just crazy to me. And I don't really see the media covering it too much. What are your thoughts on that?
So that's a great point. I didn't even think about them trying to be anti-family, pushing abortion, pushing single motherhood stuff. I didn't even think about that. That's a great point you made, because they do normally do that. And that's a big part of the Women's March. I saw a story where it was a pro-life woman who's a feminist, by the way. I mean, she had the whole get down, she had the blue hair, like she was a feminist, like all the way, except for the fact that she was pro-life. Now, because of that fact, they disinvited her from the march. Now, if it's a women's march, then why can't all women be there from all different walks of life, all different kinds of, thought? It's because they're trying to push a narrative. So you 100% right about that.
Pardon?
So you're 100% right about that. You're correct about that.
Yeah. And I think it goes back to the bigger issue that there's this huge PC brigade push. And like, I saw an article, sorry, I'm like switching topics a lot, but I saw an article on Fox about a girl who, at her school, for 15 points of her grade, they had to write about Trump and, the bad things about Trump. And she took this homework sheet home to her dad, and he saw that, this is part of the curriculum. And she didn't get those 15 points because she wasn't willing to, bash on Trump. And it's crazy to me that the government is trying to push this into people's homes,
You're absolutely right about that, and that's crazy. That's really crazy because, when you're in school, especially like grade school, or any kind of school, really, it shouldn't be any kind of, political bias in the education that you're getting. Like if you say something bad about somebody or something or good about somebody that will affect your grade, that is not the way things are supposed to be. It should just be about learning and not about trying to brainwash somebody in a political ideology.
Exactly. And so I think the faster conservatives, keep standing up to these liberals and these feminists pushing their agenda and trying to, enter the home and, like with all these in New Zealand, we have an anti-smacking law. It's very PC and, you're not allowed to shout at your child. Well, that's, you're trying to push that sort of agenda.
So if somebody like beats their like let's say like a spanking, we call it over here. If you spank your child, that's illegal.
Spanking. Yeah, like there was one case where a girl was on a bike, and she almost got hit by a car. So in public, the father spanked her hand, and someone called the police. And I can't remember if he was charged or they dropped it, but it's just crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. That's really ridiculous. Hopefully, it does not get to that point over here. But, the signs I'm seeing don't look too good. But hopefully we don't get there. And hopefully that law, whatever it is able to be reversed where you are.
Yeah, but I don't want to take up too much of your time. So I'll let you go. But it's been really good to talk to you.
Oh, likewise. I appreciate the call and the support. I thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. I'll talk to you later.
All right, then.
Bye.
Bye. Shout out to Tanya from New Zealand. It was a great call. Great supporter. Definitely appreciate her. You guys see her in the chat, so, holla at her. 208, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, how you doing tonight? My name's Louis.
All right, Louis, what's going on?
Hey, so I actually called you a couple weeks ago. I was one of the left guys that actually is starting to convert more over to conservatism and everything. And I watched the Milo interview, and I've been doing a lot of research lately on a lot of things, and I'm looking at this narrative that's being pushed, how it's becoming almost like a norm to call somebody a Nazi. And I feel that's like extremely dangerous considering the actual history of what the Nazis did. So like when you're openly calling somebody that's gay, that loves black guys, a Nazi, and that's Jewish, I think it's just almost moronic to this point. It's becoming like, and now listen, I'm not saying that there's everybody on the right is not just all like accepting everything. There are racists on the right, there's racists on the left, in the middle. There's a lot of people that are very have their own opinions on things like this. But what I'm getting at, this is very dangerous to just push this narrative. Oh, you're a Nazi. Oh, you're this, and they have. It's actually shocking. Like Jim Jeffries the other time he was on Bill Maher, he attacked Piers Morgan, I think his name was, and he said that Trump was Hitler. I'm like, what is going on here? And I'm just shocked. I don't even, and I just want your opinion. Like, what is the best way to combat this? Because for this narrative to be pushed that you could openly call anybody a Nazi when there is no proof of Trump and doing anything like this, it's very dangerous, I feel, and I think we have to do something about this. And I don't know. I want to hear your thoughts on this.
Okay, now the whole thing about the Nazi thing, I mean, there's not much you really can do except for just come with the truth. It's just like you have fake news on the mainstream media. That's why, I watch NBC News every day because I want to see what fake news is going to be, what fake news is next to be presented to the American people. And I'll do a reaction to where I basically debrief you about what is really going on. Just like with the whole CBC story, I pointed out a story from ABC Nightly News with David Muir, and I showed you what was really going on. That's the best way to present factual information that is on top of their incorrect information. That's the best way you can do it. I mean, people are going to say whatever they're going to say. You can't prevent somebody from speaking, but at the same time, you got to come with the correct information to not allow that information just to exist out there in the ether unchallenged, if that makes any sense.
No, I agree. And I understand that. I just think that we have to, it's just really disheartening sometimes, because, my mother is an immigrant. I'm an American. I've traveled to like 3 different continents. I've lived all around the world. I've met racists. I've met people that are tolerant. There's a lot of good people, a lot of people in between the spectrum of everything. And I think it's very, I think we have to start pushing this narrative and, like you said, start coming with the facts and putting people in their place when they're openly just, shouting these just ridiculous accusations toward these people that have zero, what was the Jeff Sessions, what comes to mind. A couple of years ago, the NAACP, I think, gives him a plaque, with outstanding service or to his community or something like that. I think I'm incorrect or something, and then, now they're calling him racist. I just find this really shocking and really weird. So I just was wondering what you think about all that.
Yeah. I mean, the best way, like I said, come with the correct information. Don't allow them just to say whatever they want to say and not have anybody say, wait a minute, that's wrong. And don't be afraid to say it's wrong, because some people are afraid to say it's wrong because they don't want to be called a racist, sexist, homophobe, xenophobe. They don't want to be called all these obes and obics and is. They'll keep their mouth shut. But as long as you speak up and say the correct thing, then it's up to the individual to decide what's real and what's fake. That's the best way you can combat it, in my humble opinion.
Wow. All right. Well, thank you so much. I absolutely love what you're doing. I think it's absolutely awesome and amazing, and I wish you nothing but the best, and, keep up the good work, and, hopefully you'll hear from me again.
Thank you for the call and the support. Definitely appreciate it.
Good night.
All right, then. Same to you. Shout out to my man in California who I converted, or I helped to convert from being on the left to being on the right. That's definitely a good thing for me to hear. That I'm able to kind of, get out to somebody and reach out to somebody, even if it's just one person. I hope to reach more, but even just the one, that makes everything I do worth it. So shout out to my man that I helped to convert. Big up. 720, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, what's up, Anthony? This is Kevin from Denver.
Kevin from Denver, what's going on?
Hey, man, I just wanted to make a comment about that Congressional Black Caucus. I watch that whole news interview because every time I see a Trump interview coming up, it's like the Super Bowl for me right now. So, they say it's racist because he asked the lady, hey, do you know them? But how come it's not racist? People are saying, why did the only black person who asked a question during the whole interview ask a question about inner cities in the Congressional Black Caucus as if there's not other problems facing black people in this country? They act as if there's no black middle class. Like, this is the only thing that black people want to know about. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good question. That's definitely a good question. Well, and the answer to that question, I'm going to cut you off, but the answer to that question is she knows them. If you go to the website that she's affiliated with, they have a section for the CBC on there. So that's why. So, and my second part of that is like, why? I think that's a stupid ass question to begin with, because why the hell would he even go to the Congressional Black Caucus? They haven't been doing shit this whole time. So why would he even go to them in the first place? Easy on the cussing. It's all good, but easy on the.
I apologize.
It's all good, man. It's all good. But yeah, I mean, I understand what you mean, because they don't do anything. They're a useless organization, just another alphabet letter group in the black community that's useless, just like the NAACP, the NABJ, that's the National Association of Black Journalists, and also what else? The Black Chamber of Commerce, BCC. They do nothing. They're really irrelevant. And like I said, exactly. she asked a question just because that's her friends and she wants to kind of promote them. That's all.
That's interesting. I didn't even think of it like that. I thought she was kind of just throwing them a little curveball.
Nah, because in the video I did, I showed it on the website where it's at, where they got a section for the CBC. I mean, yeah, for the CBC. It's on the website. Like she said, she's affiliated with some radio network. I did the video. It's in the video. You'll see it. So that's why she did that.
Right. But like I said in the beginning, it's like, why? How come? Well, it's like grandstanding. They bring in a black reporter and then they ask questions about the inner city, and it kind of just goes back to how come they can't ask questions about, the tax plan and things like this. It just has to be like, it's the black, it's the inner cities and things like that. Like, I don't know. I feel like the liberals are the more racist ones because they're putting this person out there to be that mouthpiece to do that.
Right.
It's just kind of like that's just kind of how I feel about it.
I mean, I'm with you on that. I feel you.
But that's kind of all I had to say, man. I listen to you all the time. I kind of want to say, if I could put in a plug for another YouTuber, is that all right?
Yeah, go for it.
I don't know if you, a dude named Handy Mayhem.
Yes. I'm a big fan of his. Uncle Hotep.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of his as well. He's kind of, he's kind of small right now. I see you kind of been blowing up because I've been watching you for a long time. So maybe he can blow up as well because he's a good dude too.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna link to him. Matter of fact, that you said that, I'm gonna link to him. I'm gonna link to his Patreon, and I'm also linked to his page. I like Uncle Hotep. He has great content, and he's somebody that is kind of on the right, more of a conservative than anything else. and he comes from like a common sense kind of place, like the same kind of way I come from. So shout out to Uncle Hotep. That was a great plug for you.
Cool, man. So yeah, just keep doing what you're doing, man. I appreciate it. I'm gonna add you on Twitter tonight. I don't really get on Twitter too much, but I follow like 10 people, so you'll be number 11 or some shit. I apologize again. I'm sorry, man. Have a good day.
All right, man. Same to you.
All right, peace.
Peace. Hey, shout out to Uncle Hotep. I'm definitely a fan. Here's some links to his stuff in the box. Check him out. Well, in the chat box there. Alrighty, what we got? 972, you're on the line. Who's speaking?
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, it's Cherie from Dallas, Texas.
All right, Cherie, what's going on?
Well, I just wanted to kind of, I guess, throw a few points out there. I guess, first of all, the Women's March thing. I think that irritates me more than anything, that the women out there acted like they portrayed all women. And I kind of wanted to say that there are so many women out there that are classier, that are, I mean, they don't speak for all women. What they did out there was so disgraceful and disgusting, having children out there wearing vaginas, and, I mean, it was just disgraceful. On another note, I think that a lot of the things that they're doing with Trump, Nancy Pelosi, thinking that Flynn had this Twitter account, she didn't even confirm the Twitter account, and she started attacking him.
Yeah.
And she didn't even confirm that. Not only that, McCain getting prank called by somebody thinking that it was the Prime Minister of Ukraine. And he started talking about sanctions and, you know, classified stuff that you just don't talk to everybody about. I mean, that's how ignorant they are, that they want to find anything and everything on Trump. Yet there's so much stuff out there that Obama and Hillary did that they are just not even mentioning. I mean, all the stuff that Hillary did, you know, with the, 20% of the uranium, they still won't admit that. They keep trying to cover that up, as far as her emails and everything else she does. But if Trump does anything, they are watching him like a hawk. And I really believe there's a lot of moles in his campaign that he needs to be very careful about, because they are trying to find anything and everything to attack him. And as far as Flynn goes, I don't really feel like he did anything wrong. I mean, he didn't tell the vice president. Yes, that wasn't good. But as far as the other side of it, they're saying what he did was illegal. Yet, everybody, I mean, people in Obama's campaign did the exact same thing. Nobody said anything about it. They talked to Russia. Even Obama said as soon as his election was over, he could talk more about it. He was talking to a Russian about that.
I saw that. It was a hot mic when they caught him.
They don't talk about that.
Yeah.
Right. And none of that is told. I just don't understand. The left side of it is so hypocritical. I mean, they're going to end up starting a civil war over, there's so much crap that just pisses me off of the working women that voted for Trump. The reason you don't see all of them is because they're classier than that. They voted. That's how we expressed our opinion. We voted. We voted for Trump because that's what will make America better. We were sick and tired of the 40 years of crap that we went through. And we voted for Obama. And we got screwed. That's how we expressed our distrust. And no, you're not going to see everybody on news and everything else in the mainstream media, because most of the time we get pummeled for it, for saying that we like Trump. I mean, I work with 90% women. They are feminine. And I cannot even say one word about Trump, and I get bashed for it. Why? Because if I don't go along with what they want me to do, then I'm lower than dirt.
Right.
They have a group of narrative that if I don't go along with what they want me to do, they're going to steamroll right over me. You know what I mean? Like, they have this narrative that they want to, and they think that women have no rights. They have no idea what no rights mean. I mean, in the Middle East, you don't see any Muslim women, fighting for rights. You don't see any of those out there doing that. You see American women that are holding cell phones, and, they have their freaking tops off. Where else can you do that at? You can't do that anywhere else but America. And you're sitting there telling me you don't have rights? That's BS.
I'm with you on that.
I'm sick and tired of hearing all these women about the stupid wage gap crap. There's no wage gap. I worked in the aircraft industry. 98% men. I made more than most men there. Why? Because I chose a field that women do not choose. Men choose more math and science. Why? That's just what they choose. Women choose lower fields like healthcare. If you're not a surgeon or a doctor, you don't get paid that well. But it shows that women choose more of the lower paying careers, and that's just what they choose. Or women choose to, stay at home with their children and families. They take more time off. And there's a difference between earnings and wages. There's a huge difference. And women take more time off, and this whole thing about grouping women and stuff in the careers together, they don't group them together correctly. That's the problem. If they would do a correct study on the wage gap, you would actually see that women are probably making more than men.
I mean,
women
I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that 100%. You're dropping a lot of truth bombs tonight, a whole lot of truth bombs, but I got a lot of calls. Do you want to give me like a closing statement?
Yes. I mean, I just mainly wanted to say that a lot of these feminist women are not speaking for all women. A lot of these women are classier, and they just don't, come out in the mainstream media and protest and all of that. But I just wanted to let you know that, we did our part. We voted, and that's where we had our say.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. Thank you for the call. I definitely appreciate you.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
All right. Bye. Shout out to all the callers. Shout out to all the people in the chat that's watching. We got 536 live in the building right now. Thank you all for joining me. If you don't know who I am, my name is Anthony Brian Logan. You're watching ABL Live. I do this show every Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We have live call-in guests, so to speak. I don't screen anything. I'm just here, just clicking buttons. I can't tell who's who. So call in. If the line is busy, just hang up and try again. If it's ringing, it means you're in the queue. I got 2 in the queue right now. So if you hear it ringing, you're in the queue. And also, if you're new to the channel, please follow me on Twitter. That's twitter.com/Anthony B. Logan. That's twitter.com/ANTHONY. The letter B, LOGAN. Every now and again, I go on a little rant or a tangent. And I also post a lot of my stuff on there. Also, click on the little button right there underneath the screen. You should be able to subscribe that way if you're not subscribed already. And click on the bell that's right there so you're able to get notifications when I go live or I post a new video. Also, in the actual chat section under your name, there should be a little $sign. If you want to donate right there, you can send a super chat. It'll give you like a nice little color depending upon whatever money you donate. Whatever it is, $1, $1 million, whatever you got, I definitely appreciate it. Also, there's other links in the box. If you do not want to be public, you can go to Patreon, you can go to PayPal, whatever you want to do. I appreciate it all. Back to the calls. 910, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, it's Andre from Oregon. What's up, man?
Hey, not too much. What's going on with you?
Actually, I just want to talk about the Milo on Bill's show the other night.
Yes, please.
Yeah, it just didn't really seem like anything remotely close to intelligent political discourse. I mean, I don't know if you agree.
Well, I think what it was about identity. It was really just discussing his identity. That's pretty much what it was, because that's all the left wants to talk about. All they want to talk about is identity. Who you are, how you look, who you are sleeping with, whatever it is. That's what they want to do. So they were kind of getting into that realm of it, and also the appropriate reaction to somebody's opinion, to so-called wrong think. That's what that was. They weren't going to get into any real deep discussion because that's not what the left does. They get into identity. That's why when he went to the panel and talked to Larry Wilmore and the retired military guy, they got triggered because they were not there to talk about anything of any substance. They were there to cuss and say bad words, not like children. That's what that was.
Yeah, absolutely. And he had to have known before going on that show that it was going to be a slaughter. Because, I mean, if you look, he had some solid time to lay down an argument. And once they didn't agree, it was just, interruption after interruption. And it was like the only thing that he could do to get, some brief period of time to build another argument was to troll. And it was disgusting because, I know he's a professional provocateur, but there's a lot more, like Ben Shapiro. He could have done such more of a better job laying down an appropriate, classy argument that somebody would typically have a lot harder of a time refuting, too. And,
right.
It was kind of, it was almost like they just exploited. They knew what his behavior was going to be, so they just exploited it on national TV. It's kind of embarrassing, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I understand, but at the same time, they prove Milo's point about how the left is.
Absolutely.
He can use this material going forward when the left wants to talk about being all, accepting and tolerant and stuff like that. Was like, look at this interview. Look at what they did. You see how they are when they disagree with you, when your opinion is different. Oh, now all of a sudden, all the tolerance, all the acceptance goes out the window. That's no longer valid. They talk about just other things that are totally irrelevant and totally contradict their original viewpoints. So that's it. I think that was the main purpose of that little discussion for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for taking my call, man.
Thank you for the call. Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate it.
All right, bye-bye.
All right. We got 817 on the line. Who am I speaking to? Turn speakers down, please.
Hello?
Yes.
Hello? Okay, I know it might be a little late in the live stream, but what was your overall opinion on the real time with Bill Maher?
Well, like I just said, I thought it was good because it showed how the left truly is. You know, they talk about tolerance, they talk about being open to different points of view. But once you disagree with them, then that goes out the window. They become like the far right people that they say that they're not. They become hateful. They become vindictive. All these things that they say they're not. That's what they become when your opinion is different than theirs.
Yeah, I totally agree. I also would have picked Ben Shapiro for the same talk too. Like he's like me. I think he's more like professional and, just a little bit unbiased. Even Ben Shapiro is not, all aboard on the Trump train. Exactly. He still, is like, we got to point out the flaws when they're there.
Yes. I mean, but see, the thing about Ben Shapiro is that he also has some bias sometimes because he's Jewish and he's very religious. Now, I'm not being anti-Semitic or whatever you want to call it. What I'm saying is that occasionally he will be biased. I think everybody has bias.
Absolutely.
The thing about a guy like Milo is that he can present a conservative viewpoint to liberals in a way that they can't really fight other than being just hateful and vitriolic. Because if it was Ben Shapiro, they'd be able to fight it by maybe, throwing something like, oh, you're homophobic at him. If you said something about people being transgender and how it's a mental disorder, they'll say, oh, you're homophobic. So they instantly dismiss them. But with Milo, you can't do that. That's why they get frustrated, and that's why it devolves into name calling and stuff like that.
What if they brought you on the show?
Oh boy, they definitely don't want to see me. they definitely don't want to see me because the thing about it is, I mean, I've had calls to go on TV. I've been on TV already. I've been on RT a few times. I've been on Tommy Loren's show a few times, and I've had other inquiries. I will not say who they are. I'll take that to the grave, but they don't want me on the show because, first of all, like a Fox News. If they had me on there, it wouldn't be any real friction. Like, let's say you bring me on Tucker Carlson, it would not be any friction between me and Tucker. And if they had me on there, if they had me on there to debate Juan Williams, I would embarrass Juan Williams. If I was on there to debate somebody else, it just wouldn't go right, especially not on the liberal media, because they can't handle me. Because I'm not like I'm not a suit and tie kind of guy. So I'm like a regular guy on the street. So to try and attack me, they would embarrass themselves more than anything else. So they don't want to do that.
All right. Well, thank you for the insight. I appreciate you picking up my call.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks.
Alrighty. Shout out to all the callers. Thank you for joining me. 317, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, it's Nolan from Indiana.
Nolan from Indiana. What's going on with you?
Hey, nothing much. Just wanted to give a shout out to Milo, my boy. He is the red pill that the left cannot seem to swallow. And I'll tell a little theory. I think, Bill Maher is gay. I think that Milo charmed him a little bit. You seen in the sit down in the beginning, he kind of didn't seem to disagree with Milo too much until he got to the panel. And Bill Maher is smart, and he's been around for a long time, so it kind of would make sense that he would be a little with Milo because, he just speaks the truth. And Billy even said they call you a Nazi, and that's exactly like what his party is doing. He was kind of making the case for Milo at the beginning. I don't know why he would be doing that, but yeah, the panel was just stupid, and using the veteran thing is just ridiculous. As a veteran, it's just kind of tacky.
Right.
But I love Milo, and what do you think about Milo? Do you think he's just a red pill that can't swallow?
Well, that's a good way to look at it. I did not think about that before, but that's a good way to look at it. They can't really, they don't know how to handle him. They don't know how.
They get triggered.
They get triggered immediately.
5 seconds.
They have no ability to understand how to swallow the red pill that he is. They don't know how to do it. It freezes them right in place. That's why I said earlier, when he was on that panel, you saw how just incensed Larry Wilmore got. Well, go F yourself, that kind of stuff. Just totally out of his character, totally just breaking down. And then the guy in the military, oh, go F off. And it was hilarious how the guy in the military was saying to Milo, go F off because you're not American. But if you had somebody on there that was a undocumented worker from Mexico, then he wouldn't say that to them. It'd be like, oh, no, come over here. You're welcome. This, that, and the third. He wouldn't say that to him. So it's funny how they abandon all their principles, all their core beliefs, all their values when somebody is fit in the category that should be protected, has a different point of view. That's when all this stuff go out the window. So I definitely liked him for exposing the left for who they really are. That was a beautiful thing to see.
Yeah, they don't get it. He's gay, he's conservative, he's all these different things, but he's not. He's a person. He's just like everyone else. That's what they don't understand.
Right.
That he's a person just like Trump. And when Trump gets up in front and talks like a person, then we realize, hey, he's just a person.
Right.
And the people get that. The media definitely does not. It was funny just to see them squirm. He sat down. They were talking to him. He was intelligent. He actually put together sentences. And I saw them looking at him a little weird. And then they got triggered. It was just like a switch. But that was kind of funny. But great show. Glad you're getting a bunch of donations. Hope you do well. Have a good night, ABL. Peace.
Thank you for the call and the support, man. Definitely appreciate it.
I mean.
All right, take care. Shout out to all the callers. Shout out to everybody donating. I definitely appreciate y'all. Love y'all. My phone lines are blowing up right now. If you've not been able to get in, please hang on. It's really kind of difficult, but I'm gonna try to get you in the best I can. 713, you on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, this is the student that was talking to you about Mark Lamont Hill and Sean King.
All right, yeah. So, how did that go? Has that happened yet?
They both happened. And it was all right. It was fine. I couldn't ask questions to Sean King because he didn't have much time to ask to answer questions.
Got you.
But I was able to talk to Mark Lamont Hill. Basically, they both were essentially motivational speeches.
Okay.
When I compare them to things like Ben Shapiro's speech at like Missouri State University or other places that he's been to compared to theirs, he's more factual, and he has more time for people to debate him. And he always wants people who disagrees with him go first, compared to these two who didn't do that at all. When I went to Mark Lamont Hills and I asked him questions towards the end, I asked him three things. The first thing I asked was I wanted him to clarify the whole mediocre Negro statement. And what he said was he wasn't talking about people like Steve Harvey and Kanye West and those people. He was talking about the Diversity Coalition, because the guy he was with on CNN, from what he told me, was a jeweler, and he felt as though he isn't representative of the African American community's needs and wants. Even though he made that very vague on CNN, but I mean, I just took it. The second thing was if he had any hope for Trump, that he would achieve whatever Mark Lamont Hill aimed at achieving, and he was like, he basically said no, because they both have different views on what to do. And then the last question I asked him was if he believed that the welfare state and the lack of fatherhood had anything to do with the downfall of the black community, and he said no. And his argument for it was basically that it was more about a problem for social class rather than race, because middle class families or rich people without fathers usually do okay, but not the poor. But that leaves me with the question, what about the poor black people? So that's basically what I had time to ask him about that. And Sean King's was basically the same thing too. He, except I couldn't ask him anything. He was essentially, he looked so white.
Yeah, I'm about to ask you that. I'm gonna interrupt right quick. I was gonna ask you that. I was gonna ask, how does he look in person? Does he look very white in person?
Yeah, he looked white in person. He looked whiter than the whitest people in that room, regardless of whether they're white or light skinned.
Oh,
and
wow.
He was under shade. He was under like shade because the stage was dark. So he looked darker than he actually was, which is kind of funny.
Hilarious.
But like him, he had, didn't really have facts. He didn't have much facts. All he said was that there were this number of people who were black and unarmed and were killed. He also said he also doesn't know how to use technology because he couldn't play the videos of what he was trying to represent. And that was basically how it went.
Okay.
And I wasn't really impressed by it actually, because most of the stuff he said, I already kind of figured he'd say. What I wanted to ask him was, I had the 2-year-old boy that got shot and killed in Chicago, Levante White,
yes.
the one you talked about.
Yes.
I sent it to him and asked him for his thoughts on Twitter, and he blocked me.
Wow.
So I wanted to ask him that why he did that, but he never gave me the opportunity to. So that's basically how it went. But yeah,
that's crazy.
That's how it went.
So now, after the talks were over, did your opinion change about them? Or was it pretty much the same? Did it improve? Did it decline?
I felt it didn't improve for Sean King, definitely. Not at all for Sean.
Okay.
Mark, at least my opinion didn't change, but at least I was able to get his side of things.
Right.
Which is very good. At least he's approachable. I'll give him that.
Right.
Yeah.
Man, that's good, but it was a couple of things that was said in that I want to address right quick. He said that the welfare state did not impact the black family. And what did he say? Something about poverty?
Yeah, he was talking about the social class status. Like he was under the idea that black families who were in the middle class or higher did well without fathers.
That's crazy. I mean, the thing about it. So was he saying it was about poverty? That was the main thing.
Yeah, he was talking. That was what he figured.
But see, the thing about it,
for the most part.
See, the whole in the argument is this: the black community's always been poor. We've been poor. We're poor right now as we've always been. We've always been poor. There was never a time where we had a bunch of money as a collective. That's been the case since the beginning, since slavery ended. There was never a point in time since 1865 to now where we had a whole bunch of money as a collective, as a black community. We always been poor. But the violence and the crime and just the despair was not as high as it is right now. And you can point to the rise in that and the welfare state hand in hand. It goes hand in hand without an actual family that's together. Because the thing about it is this, put it to you like this. A family of 4, mom, dad, 2 kids or whatever that's poor is better off than a mom and the 2 kids by herself. Even if they're both poor, they're still better off because they're going to behave differently. They're going to know how to, just behave in society. That's pretty much what I'm saying. So his opinion about poverty being the key factor is not true because we've always been poor, but we were better off as a community before the welfare state came into existence.
Yeah, that's very true. That was why Lyndon B. Johnson had those policies he had in place of the war on poverty and so forth. I wish I could have talked to him more, but he was clearly busy, so I just had to leave it at that. But I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to know about that, or because I wanted to ask you one more thing.
All right, one more quick question, because I don't want to be unfair to everybody, but I definitely wanted to get an update from you. I told you to call back, so I'm definitely glad you did. But what's your next question?
Well, actually, it's just a statement. That stream, that He Will Not Divide Us stream,
yes,
is back up. It's in Albuquerque now. They've moved it. So if you wanted to check it out, you can.
I'm definitely going to do that to see what's going on with it, man. So thank you for the call and the follow-up. Definitely appreciate you. If you're in the chat, let everybody know who you are so they can kind of ask you questions if they want to. And we'll go ahead and just do it like that, man. Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate it.
All right. Have a good time.
All right. Same to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Shout out to my man. Shout out to my caller. He's a student at a university. And Sean King, Talcum X, the fake black guy who's white as snow, white as, a Nord, somebody coming from the Arctic Circle. He came to speak at his school, and also Mark Lamont Hill, the mediocre Negroes guy. I did a video about him. He also came to speak. So that's what the conversation was about. So shout out to my man for calling back. I told him to call back last time that I spoke to him, and he did. So I definitely appreciate him for that. 504, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Yeah, Joe. How you doing, Anthony?
I'm doing pretty good. About yourself?
Great. First of all, you're doing a great job. Just keep up the good work.
Appreciate that.
And I think people like yourself, at some point in the probably not too distant future, you're going to replace the corporate media, because that's basically what the mainstream media has become. It's just corporate media. And I really think next on Trump's hit list, among other things, I'm pretty sure he's out to destroy the media. And he's already given a couple of really good kill shots. And, he's been doing this for a while, but he just keeps doubling down on it. And a lot of people in the media are acting like wounded animals, like Don Lemon walking off the set yesterday. And if you see any of the any of the people on CNN, they spend half their time just complaining about Trump. And I really think they know that they're in serious trouble. Their ratings are low. People don't trust them. It's just that they're totally controlled by corporations. I really believe that's what the problem is, and it seems obvious to me. What they do, like you mentioned Juan Williams before, some of the stuff I've heard him say is just so stupid. I can't believe he really believes that. I really think people like him are just saying what they're told they should say.
Yeah, see, the thing about Trump, the point you made about him killing the media, I think what he's doing is giving them humane euthanasia, because they're dying anyway. So
right.
what they're doing right now, they're trying to remain relevant by having all these salacious articles, fake news, and what he said, that I think a golden quote from that press conference he had, what was it, on Thursday? He said, the leaks are real, but the news is fake. Right. And they were confused. It was like, what does that mean? What are you talking about? Well, the leaks, the information that has been leaked is true, but the reporting on it, the way they report it, they frame it in a way to where it makes the story different. That's why it's fake. Right. And they're doing that to try and get ratings, to try and get clicks on the website, to try and get views of the TV channel. But that's coming to an end because of alternative media, the internet, and everything else rising. Legacy media is dying. So he's kind of like accelerating their death. So it's kind of a good thing that they kind of just get out of the way right now, so we can kind of just take over and have a lot of other media outlets out there for people to pick from.
Right. And one other point I want to make, I don't know, I just got in a little while ago, so I don't know if they covered this, but when you're talking about, they tried to make a racial issue out of Trump, asking that black reporter from PBS if she knew anybody in the CBC. Before he said that, she said, I know some of them. So that makes the whole argument illegitimate.
Right.
I mean, before he brought it up, she said, I know some of them.
Right.
So, I mean, in the argument, I mean, I'm 59 years old, and I remember a time when there were, and I'm white, so I'm one a lot of white people. A lot of stupid white people thought things like, well, black people all know each other, or they were, because they live in their own bubble, their own enclave, and they don't have any kind of communication with the black community at all. So it seems like such a foreign thing to them. It's like talking about Quakers or something like that, or Martians for that matter. You figure they're so far removed from your world, they must all know each other because it's such a small, tight-knit thing.
Right.
But it's absurd. I mean, if you know anybody from different communities like that, of course, it's obvious they don't, So to bring that up is preposterous. To think that he is that backwards thinking, he couldn't possibly be. Nobody with half the brain now would be, especially somebody like that who's been in business all these years and dealt with all kinds of people.
I'm with you on that, man. I'm definitely with you on what you're saying here.
So you might have brought that up already, and I may be being redundant. But anyway, you're doing a great job, and I listen to all your videos. Keep it up.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate it.
All right, man. Have a great night.
All right, same to you.
Bye.
All righty. If you don't know what you're watching right now, my name is Anthony Brian Logan. This is ABL Live. Thank you all for watching, tuning in. We got 490 in the chat watching right now. Thank you to all the donators. I definitely appreciate you. The super chat is looking great. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to all the mods. As if Lucha Milo, everybody, Dina, everybody. All righty, let's see. 601, you're online. Who am I speaking to?
This is Tyler from Biloxi.
All righty, what's going on?
Just wanted to call in, Anthony. I wanted to say, man, you're great. I love every one of your videos. Every day I look forward to seeing. Today is Sunday, February 19th. As you know, you're going in and doing your thing. But yeah, I'm from Mississippi. I got my bachelor's degree from Southern Mississippi University, and I transferred to Tulane University in New Orleans to get my master's degree. And this ties into the whole Milo thing on speaking on college campuses. And when I transferred to Tulane, which is in New Orleans, it was like yin and yang, coming from Southern Mississippi to New Orleans, where at Tulane, it is like one big liberal echo chamber. Like there's very little diversity of thought on campuses in places like New Orleans, and definitely on the West Coast and California. And the thing with Milo and Bill Maher, I mean, you have to be brave if you're a conservative to go on, Bill Maher or pretty much any show on television, because you're walking into the lion's den. I mean, Bill Maher's show he's just surrounded by a bunch of sycophants who just echo the same leftist talking points every episode.
Right.
And it's just crazy. And me, I'm like one of the, 5 atheists in Mississippi. And, I just want to apologize on behalf of myself. I don't want everyone to think that every atheist is like Bill Maher or any of those guys, because, I still say, God bless America and everything like that. And plus, I have my own personal God. My own personal God is Hank Aaron and his only begotten son, Deion Sanders. So, that's who I, have as my own personal God. But when I tell religious people, when I tell them I'm an atheist, I just tell them, pray for me. I always appreciate a good prayer and things of that nature. And I love what you do, man. I love your subscribers. They're very friendly. You're a very, very friendly guy. And I just wanted to call in and tell you how great a person you are. Very genuine guy. And you're just amazing, man.
Well, thank you for the call and the kind words, man. Definitely means a lot to me, man. You know, I like to be able to have people from all over the world to be able to come to one place that have, you know, kind of similar points of view, but at the same time, they differ a little bit. So it's not an echo chamber to, you know, too much. But at the same time, everybody's cordial and everybody's cool. I definitely appreciate you for your words and your comment and your call. Thank you for your, I appreciate you.
Definitely. Anytime, Anthony, and keep it up, man.
All right, will do. All right, take care.
Take care.
Shout out to my man. That was a great call. I love the callers, man. I love all the people that are in the chat. A lot of my subscribers, you guys are very great. Hey, you guys know that I'm actually verified now on YouTube. It should show up in a couple of days here. You know, if you go on somebody's page, you see like the little check mark next to their name. That should be showing up here in the next couple of days. Maybe tomorrow, maybe tonight. I'm not quite sure, but it should be there. I had a little bit of problems on my channel. People tried to kind of hate, and there was a few trolls trying to attack, but you know, love conquers all. So shout out to all y'all that have supported me to get me to this point where I'm verified. My play button, you know, the silver play button, that should be coming soon, but I don't know. That's kind of a process you got to go through. I don't know how that's really done, but I'm going to try to get that pretty soon here. And once I get the play button, I will do probably a live unboxing just for y'all. So shout out to everybody in the chat and all my subscribers. 336 on the line. Who I'm speaking to? Turn speakers down, please.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that.
All right. What's going on? What's your name?
Oh, it's Charles Johnson. I've called him before.
All right, Charles. What's going on?
I don't know. I just like you picked up and I was like, my heart's just on me because I've never really. It's just weird when you have all those people in the video chat and you're just like, oh, my goodness.
Oh, it's all good, man. Take your time.
Well, I had a question. I wrote it down and everything because last time I just freaked out and I forgot completely. Do you feel that it's good intentions from everyday people, but it's places like media and politicians and stuff like that that are just riling them up? And like I saw, you ever watch InfoWars?
Yes, I do occasionally.
Well, they went and did like Immigration Day March, and they actually talked to a lot of people, and you know they listed policies that Trump, you know, was pro for. That was his policies on immigration, and you know when you talk to these people, you know that they agreed with a lot of them. But then whenever they would talk to people that were representatives of the actual march and were coordinating it, they wouldn't give any comments or nothing like that. They were just representatives of the DNC and stuff like that.
Right.
So do you feel that it's maybe necessarily it's just the media and a lot of them are just pushing these people that they would probably have like a lot of middle ground with a lot of the other Republicans and stuff like that, but they push it to a degree that, you know, all these are bad people and they agree with the opposite stuff of this?
Well, I'm not really sure what you're asking. Are you saying that people that are in the DNC, they're sent to the media and that's why they are on there? I'm not really sure what you're asking.
Oh, okay. So like the media is trying to turn the other side, like say a lot of people that would be very sensible and they would basically lie and say that Trump's like, you know, obviously say he's a Nazi and stuff like that and push it against him. But a lot of them actually agree with a lot of the policies Trump says. Like they were doing an InfoWars, and a lot of the people they were asking that agreed with some of the policies. They didn't say it was Trump's policies, but they just said some of his policies and they would agree with it. It's just they didn't know. They were just all marching because they thought it was something entirely different.
Okay, so basically you're trying to say that like the average person is being influenced by the media to be against Trump, but in reality they probably agree with a lot of what he says?
Yeah.
Yeah, that does happen. But at the same time, these people probably were anti-conservative already. So it's kind of something that's been going on for a long time. It ain't just Trump. You know, people just get so triggered about Trump, but in reality, even if it was anybody, you could have put Ben Carson, you could have put Chris Christie, you could have put Jeb in there. They would still not like him. It would not be to this extent, but they would still not like him. They would still try to vote for the other person. But the media does. Yeah, the media does hype it up a lot. They cover a lot of these riots. They call them protests. And you got people on TV that try to justify them. So that the media does play a part in it for sure. But they play on what has already been existing, which is an anti-conservative feeling towards people that are on the left.
Yeah, like they're terrified of them, especially if it's someone like, I know PewDiePie. It's like, you know, he's starting to seem like, you know, you're probably already done. I think you posted a video about it with PewDiePie and he's being attacked by the New York Times and they're saying he's an anti-Semite and all this stuff. You know, and he's not necessarily whatever position he holds, but because his positions seem to line up a little bit more to the, what a lot of people on the right would agree with, more conservative and, free speech and liberty and stuff like that, that they're just straight on targeting him with it. And, that influence and everything, it's a big figure like that. Like Matthew McConaughey got a lot of flack for, some of his ideas. Same with Denzel Washington. It's like, if you have a lot of influence and power, they'll really target you on those. And it's just, I don't know, it's crazy. I know, especially with PewDiePie, since he has such a big media outreach and stuff like that.
See, PewDiePie, the thing about PewDiePie is different because, like you said, and there's a reaction to it, the media had been targeting him because of the money he made. See, the media does not like the people that are on YouTube becoming very popular because it kind of jeopardizes their careers or their friends' careers. Like, let's say you're working at CNN, you're just some poor schlub working on some random show that nobody watches. And then you see a guy like PewDiePie, probably has no, extensive background in journalism or whatever. He's not even a journalist. He just happens to be a guy people like. They find him entertaining. They found him funny, and they go to his channel. He's making millions of dollars, and they kind of like they resent that. It's like, hey, I went to school. I spent $100,000. I'm in debt up to my eyeballs. I'm over here trying to struggle to make it in this corporate America, and here he is over here making millions of dollars just being goofy on YouTube. So it's a personal vendetta against him. And then he comes out with these so-called anti-Semitic videos, which are not anti-Semitic, but the media and their personal bias, they go out there and try to find little stuff to ding him on. And then they present it to YouTube and say, hey, you know what? Look at this. What you going to do about this? Disney, YouTube, what you going to do about that? And it forces their hand. And a lot of that comes from personal jealousy.
So, like, have you seen any stuff like Fox News or anything doing that stuff? I've watched a little bit of InfoWars, and they talk about a little bit about Fox News being kind of, whatever here is like Fox News is, much better of a real journalist and everything, but sometimes to a degree they act a little wacko. But I'm not really sure too much about that. You'd probably know more so since you provide a lot of news and stuff like that.
A lot of the mainstream media, as I close, I'm going to get to a few more calls here. Thank you for the call, though. But a lot of the mainstream media in general has a bias. But I think out of all the mainstream media, like on TV, I think Fox News is the most honest because, in my opinion, I think people that are on the right or that lean more towards the right are more honest than not. So they still have a bias though, but it's not as bad to the point where they just create stories that aren't true or they twist the facts into a brand new story like those on the left, MSDNCs, etc. But I'm gonna get to a few more calls, man. Thank you for the call. I definitely appreciate you.
You're welcome.
All right, then. Take care.
Yep, you too.
Hopefully my stream is not messing up right now. I see it's turned red. Uh-oh. Hopefully my stream is good. All right, if you guys can hear me, let me know in the chat. If I'm in the chat, if you can hear me, let me know in the chat. It should be working here. Oh, it's lagging. Okay, I think we good now. I see green screen. If you can see me, give me some thumbs up. If you can see me, thumbs up. Hey, you know what? You said it keeps buffering. You see, I'm getting green screen 100%. All right, if you can hear me, is it lagging? What's going on? All right, all clear? Hopefully it doesn't do it no more. 510, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, what's up, Anthony? I'm calling from the Bay Area. Just wanted to give you a shout out, man. I appreciate having a different voice of opinion.
I appreciate that.
And, one of the things out here, man, the Bay Area, is I was a big time liberal for like the longest, man. I was indoctrinated to believe that Republicans were racist, bigots, everything like that. And when I started reading, I started getting myself more educated. I started seeing how these policies in Oakland, California,
which is failing. For 50 years, we've been voting for liberals, and people still continue to be poor. Situations don't change. The policies are failing, and that's what I tell people. I try to, communicate that to people. These policies are failing Californians. They're failing Blacks, Hispanic. I was like, it's time that we need to change up the system. It's time that we start getting different points of view. And she's from LA, so she tends to be a little bit more libertarian, but I told her that's awesome. That's the voice and diversity. I need to hear different points of view.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the best way to go about it, man. I mean, it's kind of difficult to be over there in the Bay Area, man. You're kind of in an echo chamber, and everybody just wants to kind of be one kind of way. So it's good to have.
But it's awesome. But it's because I'm able to develop my ideas, and I'm able to argue those ideas and articulate those ideas.
Right.
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Sorry,
yeah, I'm here.
Like
yeah.
So that's the thing that I tell people is that I'm able, instead of being in the echo chamber, I'm the people that do. I'm able to stay road all fantastic, like conservatives, libertarians. And I said, it's harder for me because I actually have to defend my opinion.
Your phone's breaking up, man.
Hello?
Your phone's breaking up?
Yeah, hello?
I hear you now.
Yeah, so one of the hardest things to tell people is that, I have to develop these arguments. I have to understand the rationale behind what I believe and why I choose to believe those things.
Right, 100%. You gotta examine why you believe what you believe. You shouldn't just believe things blindly like that. So that's good that you examining what's going on.
Yeah, and I appreciate it because people like you give me that courage and say, hey, there's a lot of people that think more like me and like you than what the media tries to do. Because I was a Trump supporter, and not that I supported everything 100% of what I still disagree with a lot of things that he did. But I said, look, I think this is the best man to move us into this direction where it's like, hey, we have to have dissenting voices. And I hear conservatives saying this is like the new punk rock movement. Like we're the ones that we're becoming renegades because we're going against the counterculture. Or we're becoming the counterculture.
Absolutely, 100%. And you're right on about that. We are the counterculture, and we're getting pushed into a corner, and we're forced to do it. But hey, I mean, it is what it is. It's kind of a natural occurrence, and you're 100% correct about you're right about what you say there.
And the thing is that I don't want to squash ideas. Like as a conservative, I want us, if we do win this war, which we probably will, the war of ideas, is that we have to accept. And argue them with arguments, and I feel like we don't have to lose that essence of this movement. Is that we want to hear these arguments, that rationale, and that's how we get the country moving forward. That the Federalist Papers, a lot of the founding fathers disagree on a lot of things,
right?
But ultimately, the goal was a centrist one, and everything is written in the Constitution as a centrist mentality. There is no left or right or this or that. It's actually what can we do to better. No matter which body, sexual, black or white, the paradox is that how can we as people progress? I want to see everybody do better.
I'm with you on that, man, but I got a few more calls and I got to fix my live
thank you,
stream.
Man. I appreciate you taking the call, man. I'm definitely going to be donating. Thank you.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate it and the support. 100%.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, then. All right, I don't know what's going on my stream here. All right. I'm trying to get my stream fixed. I don't know what's going on. See, I'm on Wi-Fi. I might need to change that. I might need to just get a hard wire. But sometimes it does this occasionally. All right, it's in and out. I'm out to end pretty early, but I'm going to try to stay on for as long as I can. 917, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, this is Justin Wilson.
All right, Justin, what's going on?
Hey, I just wanted to talk about how ironic it seems like that Bill Maher and the clash between Bill Maher and Milo. To me, it just seems like Milo was far more liberal than Bill Maher actually mentioned there, and I just thought it was weird that all the points that he was making, Bill Maher just could not, in some way, like go against it without being hypocritical. And I just thought that was a weird tension.
Okay, say that one more time. You said that Milo was being hypocritical. Turn speakers down, please, in the background.
Okay. Hello, can you hear better?
Yes.
Yeah, I was saying that Bill Maher, it seemed like Bill Maher was more Milo. It didn't seem like he was giving him a time and place to actually express his ideas clearly. And I just sensed that tension there because for me, it just seems like Milo was far more liberal than Bill Maher could ever be, and yet also logical, even on his own line of criticism, especially when it comes to Islam and so on. Milo is very consistent with his system, but Bill Maher, it seemed like he thought that was too much, even though he is extremely critical towards Islam and has no problem hurting people's feelings when it comes to that. So I thought that I was taken back by that. I was surprised that he could actually criticize Trump for, things such as the Muslim ban, even though I don't think it was expressed there on that show. But I've heard him criticize the Muslim ban, even though he himself he's very critical towards Islam.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of strange. It really is, but I think Maher kind of toes the line. He's kind of wishy-washy. He kind of reminds me of Ben Shapiro a little bit, but not quite. Like Ben Shapiro sometimes kind of toes the line. He kind of rides the fence occasionally, but not as bad as Bill Maher does. Bill Maher does that a lot. So I think that's kind of what he was doing during this interview. He was kind of like riding the fence, not really trying to be on Milo's side, but at the same time, not trying to really attack him. It was kind of strange.
Yeah, and what I'm seeing is that there's this struggle where I guess the right has taken the alt-right or independent media is now taking the stage of becoming the mainstream, and now those who actually fought against the mainstream, they don't know what to do with being the mainstream, so they feel like they have to attack anyone who's on top, even if it's their own teammates. Right. And it just seems like there's this struggle where you have to fight the powers that be, even if you become the power. And that's the weirdness of this vicious cycle of just attacking anyone that's on top. If you become on top, you have to attack yourself and pretend you weren't yourself a minute ago. That's what I'm seeing right now.
Yeah, I agree with you there. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's very contradictory. If you're gonna be one way, just be that way. Don't change up when it suits you. I agree with you what you're saying there.
Yeah. So that was my thoughts. It just seems like now the trend is to stay cool. You just have to always be against the trend, even if it was the trend that you started. So it just seems very hypocritical. So those are my thoughts. I just thought that was quite interesting.
Well, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for taking it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Bye.
Big ups to all the callers. Hey, man, I apologize for my stream being like this. I see you guys in the chat saying, hey, go Ethernet. I'm going to do that. But see, where I'm at, I'm in my second bedroom. The modem is in the front. I got a long cord, so it should reach here. This is a PC setup. I normally have no problems, and it's all good. But tonight, I don't know. Sometimes YouTube is a little funny. And Facebook, I was trying to live stream on Facebook, and it was crazy. It wasn't working at all, really. My audio was very choppy, but the video was fine. But I'm getting all green bars here, so I should be good to go. We're online for about an hour and a half. At this point, we got 339 in the building. It was more before my stream basically crashed, but we still here. We still rocking. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to all the donators. Shout out to everybody that's watching. If you don't know, this is Anthony Brian Logan. You're watching ABL Live. I do this show every Saturday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you like what you've been hearing so far, please go to my Twitter and follow me. That's twitter.com/Anthony B. Logan, twitter.com/ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN. Also, go to my Facebook, find me on there, search for Anthony Brown Logan. This handsome face shall appear. And also, if you want to donate to me, if you're feeling generous, under your name in the chat, there is a $sign. Click right there and donate whatever you want. You can send a super chat. So if you donate and type something, as like a little pretty color that's associated with it. And if you don't want to be public, go to my description box and donate through PayPal, Patreon, or my website, which is also PayPal. So big up to all the callers. I'm gonna take a lot more. We got a ways to go. But you know what? I'm gonna go on a quick break. 2 minutes to get up and stretch. Hopefully my stream does not crash in the meantime. So you guys hang tight. 2 minutes. Don't go nowhere. Stay where you are. I see y'all in the chat. I see you in the chat trying to leave, but don't go nowhere. I'm back. I see y'all in the chat. Back in the building. 1111 donation. Shout out to you, man. 708, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Oh, you're speaking to Triple T.
Triple T, what's going on? I hear a little bit of background stuff. Can you turn that down, please?
Yeah, I just shut that down. It should be good.
All right.
Hey, it's good to talk to you. Hope I get a minute or two. So I have a couple questions to share with you in the audience. Because first of all, I'm the kind of person, after 30 years in education, and I'm still going on at it. I'm happy at what I do, and I believe in young people. I believe in people. And when I was working my way toward the position, and I incurred challenges, just like we all do. And some of the challenges came when Ronald Reagan became president. And at first, as a young person, I thought, this is really not cool. I didn't like it. I wanted to say negative things about him. And then it occurred to me, you know what? This is my president. He's got to have my back.
Right.
So I'm going to have to accept that and make the best of it. And, of course, I was a guy, with early 20s or what have you. I voted for Carter the first time I voted, so getting an idea where I'm at. But my thing is, if I stay that way, no matter who becomes president, I stay that way no matter how they become president. And there's a lot to be said about the validity of it and so forth and so on. The process, we know it's flawed. But at the end of the day, you get what you got. And I tell my students, I tell my kids, I'm a father, I tell my wife, I tell myself, we got to make the most of our situation, no matter what it is. You got to play the hand you get until you get a better hand. So, of no particular favoritism for anybody, unless they show me something that says, I should favor this person, I should favor this administration, I should favor this plan. Because what? It's doing something positive for me, and at the least, it's not doing negative kind of things. So when I look at the world that we're in, it amazes me that we can't seem to figure out as people that isn't that really what we want every time we choose a new administration? We want a legitimate administration that considers everybody wants the same thing. Most of us do, that is. We know there's some people who are, on the deep end, but most of us want to be able to take care of our families. We want to live in peace. We want to be happy. Might want to make a little extra money. But at the end of the day, I don't think too many of us want to go conquer a country. I don't think too many of us have some nefarious agenda that says, take out so-and-so, destroy so-and-so. I think there's plenty of Americans who are ready to love and accept anybody. I mean, that's the way this country has been. But in spite of that, there's plenty of us who are flawed. I'm flawed. You're flawed. So why do we trip? We allow, from my view, to these years, we allow disinformation, fear, and a whole bunch of other stuff that flies against the best of who we all are to steer us in the wrong direction. We've had great people like Muhammad Ali, Martin Luther King, JFK. Hey, greatness in Ronnie Reagan. Like I said, I wasn't a supporter until I realized you got to go with what you got. So we've always had greatness, and it's not limited, of course, to the United States. So after all these years, don't we ask ourselves, what is the problem? What's the problem with the human race?
I mean, I'm with you on that, man. I don't mean to interrupt you, but my stream is kind of crashing right now, so I got to go fix it. So thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
I'll get back at you. Okay. Much success continue to you.
All right. Thank you. Definitely appreciate you. All right, you guys, if you can hear me, I'm going to go ahead and try to fix the stream here. I'm going to go ahead and try to get an Ethernet cord. That's the best way I can do it. If I cannot fix it, I will be off. So y'all guys just hang in there. I see you guys in there. If you can hear my voice, give me some thumbs up. I'm trying to fix the stream here. This is on the fly, ABL, just trying to fix and get stuff cracking. I think my internet is not able to handle a lot of the higher stuff there. If If y'all can hear me, please let me know in the box. All right, can you guys hear me? All right, we're gonna try this one more again. One more again. I'm plugged in through, I got my cord running from my computer to my modem in the living room under my entertainment center. You might be able to see it. Watch this. Let's try this one more time. All right, you see the cord right there? You see the cord? That's coming from my front room and hooked up to my PC, which is right here. All right, hopefully we good now. Hopefully we don't got no problems. I mean, we're gonna see. I'm hardwired right now, baby. Ain't no Wi-Fi. One more again, yes sir. Almighty DA. All right, thank you all for hanging in there, man. 258 live in the building. I definitely wanted to keep on the line for you and keep the party rolling. Hey, if it's messing up, just make sure that you refresh. All right, cool. We hardwired right now, baby. We in the building. I see the caller stopped. If you want to call in, please do so now. Please do so now. We got full bars. We got green screen. Liz Wilson says hello from Texas. Well, howdy to you. Howdy to you. Solid Snake. That's the name of the court, Jason. All right. Faith is abdication of reason. It said you were lagged out about 10 seconds behind. Yeah, that's an Ethernet cord, Lucha Milo. Yes, it is. I'm gonna try to get it. I got another coaxial connection in my bedroom behind that. You see the blue flag right there? That's where I sleep at. So I got another one I could just bring in through the bottom of the door. That might be what I end up doing for the stream, just to make sure everything's on the up and up so we don't crash. I do it all for y'all, man. A lot of y'all are very generous for your donations. Yeah, of course, Cynthia, the music won't lag. You know, the music got to just get through it. But, you know, they might want to silence me, but it's all love. It's all love. 980, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, Anthony, it's Alan. I called a couple weeks ago.
All right, Alan, what's going on?
Hey, I just wanted to say a couple things. First thing, I'm an Army veteran. I served with Asians, blacks, Hispanics, everything. And, we were brothers and sisters. And up until probably when Obama took office, there was never really any problems, it seemed. And then when Obama took office in the last 8 years, there's been this division that's been, taking place. And I just don't understand it. And do you think that the media has anything to do with that?
Now, ask it one more time. Like, what are you saying to me? Like, what is your central thing you're saying here?
Is the media responsible for the division, the racial division that's happening now?
Well, they're definitely aiding it. You know, there's always been the racial divide that's been in the United States. It's always been there. But a lot of it has been able to be contained. That's the main thing. You can't really get rid of the racial division because as long as there's different kinds of people that have different kinds of traits, But that's a whole different story, and I digress. When you're talking about people that are different, there will be some kind of racism, but the media has exacerbated it by pointing out situations that happen that could be considered racist. Therefore, the tensions that are already existing become worse because now everybody's on edge. Rather than it being kind of under the surface, now people are just more vocal. And anything that happens when it could be considered racist in any kind of way, they want to react. So they definitely aid in it. What they've done is just kind of provoked what's already there to become worse, basically.
Yeah, I understand that. And do you think, the media definitely has something to do with it. Do you think that, with the president's press conference the other day, do you think that the public is starting to realize that a large portion of the media is actually fake news? I mean, do you think that people are actually waking up to that?
Yes, people are waking up to it. And what's funny about it is that Hillary Clinton is the one that started it, just like she started the whole birther situation. And people want to try to blame it on the right. They want to try to blame it on Trump. They want to say, oh, Trump is saying that everything is fake news. He tried to say that Obama was not born in the United States. He's a racist. But really, I remember clearly, I did a video about it, how Hillary Clinton talked about fake news and Pepe the Frog and all that in the third. So now Richard Spencer's out there wearing a Pepe pin on his lapel on his suit jacket, and he gets punched in the face for it because of what Hillary Clinton and other people are saying about Pepe and, white supremacists, all this, that, and the third. And the fake news, she tried to put that out there to say that news stories about her that were unflattering were false. But what it really did was make people wake up and say, hey, what's really the fake news? Who's lying and who's not? So, the media, Hillary Clinton, they definitely are responsible for what's going on as far as that little movement is concerned. Yeah,
man, I totally agree with you, and I appreciate you taking my call.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate it.
Thanks for doing what you're doing, dude.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
Good night.
Same to you. Hey, man, I'm happy right now that the streaming's back online. I definitely want to get back online for you. I had that big, long, this is like a 40-foot Ethernet cord. For real, I'm serious. It's long. And I kept it for a long time, just for a situation just like this. Shout out to Ethernet cords, hardwired. Alrighty. Let's go to 818. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, how you doing? This is Steve from California.
All right, Steve. What's going on?
Hey, man. I just want to, first of all, thank you so very much because I just found your channel just a few months ago. And, over the past year or so, my own views have gone more to the right. And me being black, well, I'm half black, half German, but I was looking around for somebody that looked like me, that was thinking more like me. So when I found your channel, I was like, the angels was like, started flying above my head. I was so grateful to see just somebody, and so thank you so very much for what you're doing. And I had a couple of things I wanted to share with you. The first thing was you just had a caller that was asking about the racial divide. And this is basically what my thoughts are about that. So before Obama got elected, we obviously still had a racial divide, but I think it was more like lighthearted. So I go back, I don't know if you remember, I'm probably a little older than you, but there was a movie back in the 80s called Airplane. And in that movie, they made fun of everybody. I don't know if they had two dudes on there that spoke jive. They made fun of Jewish people. They made fun of white people. They made fun of gay people. They made fun of Buddhists and priests and nuns. I mean, they made fun of everybody. And people were able to laugh at that and laugh at themselves and see the humor in it without it being a dark or messed up thing. And I think what happened is when Obama got elected, people felt like they had to pretend like they didn't think the way they thought before. And so for 8 years, you had people basically being bottled up and not wanting to say, or, they were afraid to say what they felt, but right away being called a racist. And so for 8 years, and so once, that last year came, it was like the top just flew right off the top of it. And that's, to me, one of the main reasons why, because everybody for so many years has been trying to hold it all in rather than just expressing and us sharing how we feel and just dealing with it. And now we're definitely dealing with it on a whole nother level. So that's the first thing I wanted to share with you. The second thing was I realized just over the past 2 days the genius of Donald Trump.
Yes.
Because of how he's dealing with the media and how he's running the show. And people, I don't think many people understand. Maybe they do. I don't know. Maybe, right does. So it's kind of like, when a song first hits the radio and maybe you don't even like the song that much. And then they play it again, they keep playing it. And all of a sudden, like, a week or two later, you're like, oh, it's okay. Then like 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, you're like, oh, I actually think I like that song. Because you keep hearing it over and over. So what he's doing by staying on TV all the time, no president has ever been as public as he's been over these past 4 weeks.
Right.
I mean, he's on TV every day. Every week he does his address the nation. He met with like 3 leaders in 5 days. Nobody has ever done that before. So his base, and I'm a Trump supporter myself, are going to say, look, he's being more transparent than anybody's ever been before. And that's going to start to transition over into other people. They're going to see it. And it's the same thing when, that song that you didn't like, some people are going to start to see this. Like, wait a minute, he is being transparent. He is different. And I'll be straight with you. I was not a voter ever until this election. And the reason was because in my entire lifetime, it was always politicians. And they always seemed like they were full of it. There was never, you never got any straight talk from them. And so to me, it was like, okay, whichever joker is in office is really not pulling the strings anyway. They're being.
Oh man, that was. Hey man, I'm sorry that your connection. I don't know what happened to your connection, but you were a great caller, man. You were dropping truth bombs from Madagascar, man. You really putting in work, man. I'm sorry that your connection. That it hung up, man, but that was a great call. Thank you for calling, man. And I've been hearing a lot about that, actually, about your point. People saying that they were not Trump supporters before, or they did not vote before. That they're fully grown adults, they're in their 40s and whatnot. They never voted before until Trump. So I've definitely been hearing that a lot. So you're 100% correct about what you're saying, and I've heard what you're saying a lot. Because Trump is not a politician, he's just just a everyman, so to speak. Of course he's a millionaire, billionaire, or whatever, but the way he speaks is not like a politician. He's not just full of it. He's not just putting on a facade or a show. It's real, and you could feel it. Two 210, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, Anthony, this is Nick Taylor again, V Nicolo 4.
All right, what's going on, Nick Taylor? That's a new name now, huh?
Yeah, I changed the channel. I changed the channel name, same content, left everything the same. No, man, you got it going on tonight.
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, man, that the feed was acting up, but seemed like it's the stabilized.
Yeah, I don't know what's going. I think it's my Wi-Fi. I think it's my Wi-Fi. So now I'm hardwired now. I went in my closet and did some MacGyver stuff to put this get this old Ethernet cord I ain't used in years to get it out from my living room. You can see it back here. You can see it back there. And it's
I'm looking at it. I'm like, man, I thought it was my system.
Yeah, man. So, we back on it, man. So I definitely wanted to keep the stream going for y'all. Y'all been so generous and y'all been so great in the comments and the calls. So I definitely want to keep the party going for y'all.
Uh-oh, I ain't lose you, did I?
I'm still here. You hear me?
Oh, okay. It went. Man, I'm telling you are killing it because I keep tabs on everything that's happening and what they consider black YouTube. I hate that term.
Yeah.
But I guess it is what it is.
Right.
But man, you are killing it. You're killing it.
Appreciate
what I called about was the CBC, the Congressional Black Caucus deal.
Yes.
Remember that reporter. What's her name? April Ryan.
Yes, black
from
woman.
American Urban Radio.
Right.
I know. Let anybody that listen to me know I'm not PC, but I'm not foul either. Here's the thing: you and I know. I don't expect any answer. I'll just say it for me because I keep everybody else clean. I'll take the hit. There is nothing good that's going to come out of Trump meeting with the Congressional Black Caucus. The format has already been laid. The lady got triggered, quote unquote, as soon as he said, "Well, set it up." Well, I don't know anybody.
Right.
Well, why did you bring it up?
Exactly.
Why would you? Well, call in Anthony Brian Logan show. Well, who is Anthony Brian Logan? Well, why did you even bring him up?
Right.
But that's what she did. And then I don't know if you've seen the follow up of the news media rushing to the talking heads of the CBC,
yes,
which are mouthpieces for white liberal media, in my opinion, of the white liberal power structure. But the white liberalism is the marionette, and the CBC, the black Democrat politicians, in my opinion, are the puppets. But anyway, they're already denouncing it, and it hasn't even been set up, even though he said he'd like to meet with them.
Right. Exactly. So, see, go ahead.
No, go ahead. It's your show.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing was crazy because, like I said in my video, he just put it out there on Front Street. I don't know what she thought that he was going to say, like, oh, no, or try to evade the question, but Trump is an actionable kind of guy. He says, want to meet with him? She says, want to meet with him? She's like, yeah, let's do it right now. Call him, set it up right now.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, no, I can't do it. It's like, nah, why you ask? Like, he's not playing any games. He's about action, and I appreciate that.
She don't have the juice. See, the only thing she got is what I call lip service. You're going to get up here, put yourself in a position like you have juice, but then when somebody asks you to squeeze the lemon, you can't do it.
Right.
You can't do it.
Yeah.
So put the lemon. If you can't squeeze it, don't even pick it up.
100%. Absolutely. Don't pick it up. If you can't squeeze that juice, don't even bother with it. You 100%
don't
correct.
Don't even pick it up. And and people bashing him about it. I don't see him as the bad guy in this thing. I see it as them. They can't pull it off.
Right.
But okay, let's say they did meet. I'm gonna finish this, and I'm gonna let you get on to somebody else. Let's say they did. Let's say he did. The CBC showed up, and I put a list of every member on your page. I think I can't remember if I sent it to you in a tweet or on your video. But anyway, I put a list of every member of the CBC on there. Let's say they do show up. You know as well as I do, before it even happened, if it happens, it's going to be bad. He didn't do this. He didn't say that. He's a this. He's a that. Da, 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 da. The CBC has done nothing for the districts that these people have been elected to take care of.
Absolutely.
State reps, governors, congressmen, it don't matter. Every sector that they run is garbage. It's horrible. But people keep asking for the same. Thank you, sir. May I have another?
Right.
Thank you, sir. May I have another? You keep asking for it, you're going to get it.
Absolutely.
But that's it. I'm going to get out because I know somebody else is waiting. Love your show. Still going to watch. Channel change, but I'm still the same knucklehead.
Hey, man, that was a great call, man. Definitely appreciate you. Everybody that's watching, go to Nick Taylor's YouTube page, and you put that in the box, right? You put that in the comments.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. You know me. I try to clean it up. I get triggered sometimes, but I try to bring myself back in.
It's all good, man. So everybody support this content, man. Check them out. Definitely appreciate the call, man.
All right, thanks, man. Good luck to you.
All right, appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Hey, shout out to Nick Taylor. Go to his YouTube page. Check him out. Also, go to my man Az's page on YouTube. You guys plug your channels in the description box. I want everybody to go to their page. Check them out. See what's going on with them. Alrighty, let's go to, where we going to go? 256, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, this is Colin from Huntsville. Second-time caller, man. Love your show. Love what you're doing. You have the best fan base in the world. Very polite. But I just wanted to comment on a couple things. Let me go ahead and stop this radio.
All right.
Sorry about that. There you go. So just a couple things, real quick. So I've seen a lot on the left wing online talking about how Trump's attacking the press and doing this and that. And I just wanted to point out, the first thing, when they say he's attacking the press, I love how they exclude what the definition of the press is. The press, as it refers to the Constitution, is anybody taking material and taking information and transmitting it to another person, not in the form of speech, which is also protected. You know, if I'm talking to you face to face, that's freedom of speech. But if I publish a book, if I write a cartoon, if I write a news article, if I engage in citizen journalism like you do or anything like that, that's an activity of the press.
Right.
And people need to remember that CNN, MSLSD, Fox News, all these other mainstream organizations, they're for-profit companies. They are not the press. They are just companies engaging in activities that resemble what a free press would do. I wouldn't even say they're engaging in press activities at this point. And one other thing I wanted to point out, especially to listeners, non-white and white, actually, because we're at the point where everybody's getting racially slurred if they don't agree with the narrative. I saw a CNN anchor the other day sitting there talking about how he thought fake news was equivalent to a racial slur on the press. He actually made a legit comparison.
I saw that. I think that was Jake Tapper.
Golly, and I anybody that loves nicknames for these politicians needs to give Michael Savage a listen to, because he gives them the best nicknames. I don't remember what Jake Tapper's nickname was, but John Kerry was Lurch. Boehner was Clink because of his penchant for drinking a little bit too much, and that's probably why he makes some of the congressional decisions he made.
Yes.
He was probably laying on the sauce a little bit too thick. But and one last thing, and I'll let you go. And love your show, man. But anybody who's familiar with World War II history will know the term Logan press. Yeah. And it's ironic. A lot of people have been using that term to refer to CNN. And I don't know, for any listeners that don't know, Logan press in German literally means lying press. And it was the term that people labeled as Adolf Hitler's press that just reported on one thing, one ideological way, yada yada. And all these NBC and CNN reporters on Twitter, people are calling them Logan press, and they're calling the people calling them Logan press Nazis. Even though it's ridiculous, man. I just wanted to point that out to everybody, give everybody a little bit of a laugh, and just make sure they're aware of the modern day Logan press, because that's what they are these days.
100%, man. That was a great call. Very humorous, man. Definitely appreciate the call, man. Thank you.
All right, man. You be safe, man. I love what you do, and keep on, dude.
All right, man. Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, be safe.
All right, then. Hey, shout out to all the callers, man. You guys have, really kind of cheered up and cheered me up that my stream is back popping right now. I definitely appreciate you. I'm going to be on here for about another 30 minutes, give or take a few minutes. All righty, let's go to 310. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, this is Brittany. This is my second time calling in as well. I feel like you have a lot of return callers tonight.
Oh, that's all good, man. I definitely appreciate it. Definitely appreciate the support, the continued love. What's going on with you, Brittany?
Hey, so what I wanted to talk about, because I live in Los Angeles, so, we have a lot of either illegal immigrants or else, we have a lot of liberals. Let me just put it that way. So what I wanted to talk about was, I think it's funny how everybody's kind of, going off about, we stand with immigrants. I just looked at the live stream of Shia LaBeouf being in Albuquerque now. And right now as we speak, they're chanting about how they stand with immigrants. And it's what don't you guys get? What don't you get? It's not about immigrants. It's about illegal immigrants. And it's they
Yes.
just don't want to get it. And I have people that I know, friends or whatever, reposting things on Facebook and all this stuff about like, these people left a note on their manager's door saying like, oh, we've prepared this and this and that for the day, but we're going to take off because like we're immigrants or we stand with immigrants and like all this stupid stuff. And it's like, God, like I just, I get into like debates with people about this in person, and like they just like it's like they just don't get it, and they don't want to, and they don't want to reason either. You know what I mean? And I don't like think that everything Donald Trump does is like amazing, but he has done a lot of stuff so far, and he's doing what he said he's going to do.
Right.
And like I don't know, I just wonder what the future holds, because and I feel like a lot of people are like coming out of the closet right now as conservatives, and like with I mean, I guess a lot of stuff happened this week with that girl, the singer Joy Villa.
Yes. In that dress.
I loved that moment.
yes. We all did. Absolutely.
Because, yeah, I love that because first of all, that takes like so much heart to do that, but I also loved it because like it basically smashes like the liberals' narrative, because she's clearly, I think she's I watched her interview with I think Steven Crowder, and I guess she's like biracial, but she's clearly at least a little black.
Right. Yes.
Or she's clearly a minority, and so it's like, what are you gonna say? Like, what can you say? Like, oh, well, this administration doesn't like people who look like you. Like, it's not about identity. It's not about whether you're black or brown or whatever color you are. It's about
your ideas.
It's not about that. You know?
Absolutely. 100%.
And so, yeah, I love that. And like, I had to come out of the closet this week to a friend who was ranting about a teacher that we had in high school. And he, on Facebook, he posted that he was like, well, I'm trying to narrow down my friends list. I have 4,000 friends. So just so you know,
yeah. I know how that goes.
He's like,
if you
I
don't
have
make the list, I'm sorry.
friends.
I know how that goes.
Yeah, and I want to narrow it down. So I just want to let everybody know that I voted for Donald Trump, and I would vote for him again in 4 years. And so she like sent that to me and other friends and was like, I can't believe he did that. And I told her, like, I'm conservative. I didn't tell you this because I don't feel like engaging. And sometimes, you know, you have to gauge the situation. Sometimes you can talk to somebody and debate and have like a conversation. You don't have to agree. But for the most part, like, liberals they just act on emotion. They act on pure emotion. They can't listen. It's like about cutting off, and it's about that's not like that's racist, that's this and that's that, and I don't know, it's just stupid and annoying. But lots of good juicy stuff this week. But yeah, I've been dealing with all that here in LA. So wanted to call in, and thanks for making the videos that you do.
Well, thank you for the support, because I could not do the videos without y'all support. So I definitely appreciate you for your support, for watching, and for calling in.
Yeah, this is how I spend my my Saturday evenings now.
Well, it's all good. You know, you're in great company here, so it's all good. You're welcome here all the time.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go. So everybody have a good night and stay strong and support each other, because conservatives are coming back.
100%. Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate it.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. All righty. Let's see what we got here. 919, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, what's up, bro? This is Terrence again.
Terrence, what's going on with you, man?
What's up, bro? Hey, I wanted to kind of get away from some of the other callers and just ask you about what you think about these town halls they were having. I know I saw one with, I guess his name is Chavez up in Utah. And the crowd, they wouldn't even let the guy speak. You know, it was like this AstroTurf crowd. I guess they were bussed in from Arizona, from all other parts, a bunch of liberal leftists, and they were trying to make it seem like they were kind of disenchanted Republicans. Did you get a chance to see that?
Yeah, Jason Chaffetz from Utah.
Right.
And I saw that. Now, I saw a news story on that. I was surprised at the news story because they showed the fact that the so-called protest or whatever that was, it was organized by some guy that lived in the town. Yeah, I was like, okay, so it ain't just, people just showing up, just wanting to be a part of things. Nah, it was like a Facebook thing. I see that a lot. It's a lot of social media stuff that goes viral. That's kind of how these things operate. And my question is, you see, I work in marketing. I'm doing a Facebook ad right now for a client. I'm getting paid to do it. That's part of what I do. And I do that a lot. So my question is, did somebody put some ad dollars behind some of these ads to make them go viral? Because you can do that. You put enough money behind it, you can make anything go viral. Right. So that's my question. And the question is, who's funding it? You might have a little front guy that's on TV talking about, yeah, this is a grassroots thing I'm organizing, but is anybody behind him?
Right, exactly. Yeah, the other point I wanted to bring up is I saw this other commenter, or it might have been a caller on another show I was listening to. He made like a perfect point that I don't even think anybody had even thought of. He's saying that why don't they bring up George Soros and a couple of these other guys that are funding these campaigns under the RICO statute, because even though he's not directly tied to the violence, they're gonna go up the chain to see who's funding it and who's bringing in the violence, whether they are directly related to the violence or not, and they can still go after the guy at the top of the food chain. So it makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah, you might have heard that here because a guy said that on this show.
Right.
Man Mike from Queens said that.
Okay, yeah, right.
Yeah, shout out to Mike from Queens.
Exactly. I wish that once we get sessions in, maybe that can something can come of that.
Yeah, I mean that'd be good, but that's going to be kind of a difficult thing to do when you're talking about guys like Soros. They're kind of like untouchable. They got so much money and there's so much like intertwined corruption. It'd be hard to do that, but if they could do it, I pay to see it. I pay to get in the courtroom and be a witness to see what's going on, because that'd be a great thing to have. And if you do that, it'll set a precedent for others to do the same thing, because Soros, he's somebody that's kind of identifiable. You know who he is, but there's a lot others out there that do the same thing he does that you don't know about.
Yeah, there are many others, but you do have a good point. I would love to see it. I think it could actually happen. I mean, we just need somebody with the balls to go out there and try and do it, and actually make it happen. I mean, because he's definitely behind. There are others, like you said, that were behind it too. But I would love to see it happen.
Absolutely, 100%. Me too.
Hey, brother, but keep doing your thing. I dropped a little couple of ducats in your bucket tonight.
I appreciate that, man, for sure.
Hey, I'm always in that chat, always ready for you to come out with a new video, new information. I love the information, man. Keep changing minds.
Oh, absolutely, man. Appreciate the support as always.
All right, thanks, bro.
All right, Dan. Hey, shout out to Terrence. Great caller, great supporter. He reminded me of something. I'm gonna go ahead and plug myself right quick. If you don't know who you watching, this is ABL Live. My name is Anthony Brown Logan. I do this show every Saturday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. If you like what you've been hearing so far, put some ducats in the bucket. You can look under your name in the chat. There is a $sign right there. If you want to donate, you can donate right there in the chat. You'll send a super chat, so you can donate some money. You can also send something, send a message, and it'll be a nice color that shows up right there in the chat to show you donated. If you want to do it privately, go to my PayPal, which is in the description box on my website, or the PayPal me link. Whatever you want to do, that's fine. And also, my Patreon is also in the box below. But that's patreon.com/Anthony B. Logan. That's ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN. Also, follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/Anthony B. Logan. If you're not subscribed to me right now, click on that button right there under the video that's red, and click on the bell right there to get notifications whenever I go live or I post a new video. Thank you all for being here in the chat. We got a few more minutes. I'll be done at about 11:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Alrighty, let's see who we got next. 409, you're online. Who am I speaking to?
Liz Wilson.
Liz Wilson, what's going on?
Not much. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Turn your speakers down in the background, please.
Pardon?
Turn your speakers down in the background, please.
I just hit the mute.
Alrighty, what's going on with you, Liz?
I just wanted to call and thank you for what you do. I found you a few weeks ago on the internet, I subscribe to you now, and I just really want to thank you. I found Tree of Logic, joined her chat last night for the first time. Kind of a virgin to chats. Well, I wanted to thank you, her, Zoe, Paul Joseph Watson. Gosh, there's so many of you guys out there for doing what you do and standing up and speaking. And this isn't a politically correct show. I can say this. As a lily white girl, I can't say a whole lot.
Right.
You know, I get my fingerprint on me. And y'all are speaking truth. And I just want to say God bless you. I'm praying for you. And thank you for what you do.
Well, thank you for the kind words. Definitely appreciate it. You know, I would not be able to be here if not for people like you that support me. So I definitely appreciate you for supporting me.
You speak good word. I love, you know, when something happens, I go and check out, see what Anthony's saying about this. And I really appreciate what you say and what you do.
Well, thank you for the kind words. That means a lot to me. It really does.
I won't keep your time. I know people have lots of questions, but I just want to say that. And thank you. God bless.
All right. God bless you. Thank you. Shout out to the callers. You guys are very nice to me. I definitely appreciate you. 586 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, Anthony. It's Azeth again.
All right, Azeth. What's going on with you, man?
Quick call, I promise this time. But have you heard or read anything about, and I'm just finding out about this today, about Rex Tillerson and Trump targeting, I guess it's called the 7th floor in the State Department?
Okay, I've not heard about that.
All right, I'm just going to, I'm just now reading it. It's just super interesting. But in short, from what I'm reading, it's a part of, a lot of the intelligence communities, the State Department, and it's a lot of these war hawks, pro-regime change, or a lot of what are people, a big chunk of, what's the term they're using, the deep government, and they just, cleaned house, from what I'm reading, which is super interesting. I'm eager to find out more of this information. But I think it'd be some good content for you to look at. You're good at digging your hooks in, and finding out what's going on. I think it's something that you definitely should check out.
Yeah, I'll definitely check it out to see what's going on with it. I've not heard about that at all, so I definitely look into it.
Yeah, I didn't hear about it till today on a couple of videos and then looking it up. But yeah, I'll type in the chat. But they're calling it the 7th floor, the deep state, and a lot of people in the State Department are shook up because they've been so ingrained in there for I don't know, since going back to maybe Trump or Clinton, so who knows? Again, shaking the dust out of the carpet, so to speak.
Absolutely.
All right, well, take it easy.
Appreciate the call.
All right, bye.
862, you're on line. Who am I speaking to? Turn your speakers down, please.
Hey, peace. How you doing? My name's Shaw from Jersey.
All right, Shaw, what's going on with you?
I'm cooling, man. I caught the conversation kind of late. Can you just give me a quick, just little brief what you were discussing? I see the topic, but I know you probably went in on a lot of other things. But can you just give me a little, discreet description on what y'all was talking about?
Well, basically, what we're talking about is just whatever it is on their mind. Call in the topics I put in the title. That's just a general kind of. It's kind of general topics that we're talking about, but it ain't nothing really solid. Everybody has kind of different points of view. So whatever you want to talk about that's politically related or whatever, just, you can talk about that.
All right. Let me ask you a question. You're African American, right?
That's right.
All right. Now, are you the same as everybody in this country?
What do you mean by that?
Are you the same? Do you feel like somebody just got here last year or somebody just got here 10 years ago? Are you the same as them?
Well, I'm the same as far as being a human being.
I mean, but in this country, I'm talking about in North America, what we call the United States of America, where everybody want to migrate and come to, where, Negroes was getting hung from trees 30, 40 years ago. I mean, probably still now. But my thing is this, right? A lot of us don't realize, half of us are indigenous to these landmass. Half of us ain't come from Africa.
That's right.
So this is factual. That means if you didn't come from Africa, that means you're home. So why we still consider ourselves to be African American if this can be proven? If I could show you that it was black people here that look just like us, that where they didn't even come into contact with these mongoloids that look like Mexicans until probably the late 1800s. So, I mean, like, we discussing, listen, we supposed to been got reparations years ago. You got people come to this country, get free everything, you understand? But yet they don't have money to give us reparations. We've been here before 1776.
That's right.
Whether you believe you're an immigrant or you believe we are the only Americans here. Everybody else here is an immigrant. No one else, just because you change your geographical location doesn't make you an American. Just because these Europeans that's not even American can tell, oh, a Chinese, oh, you're American. No, you're not. You're not American. American refer to the Aborigines or copper color races found here by Europeans. And when I see these pictures, there ain't no Chinese, ain't no Indians, it ain't none of these other various and racist people that you ask just because they was born here are they American. They're United States citizens. The United States is of America. It's not America. So to be American, you have to be the copper color races with wool-like hair that the European classify now as African American, color, Negroes, and blacks. So, I mean, I just want my check. I want my money because these people was on our landmass and they bringing all these people over here. And look, like I said, when I was growing up in the 90s and the 80s, there was no jobs for young black men. So, you know what we had to do? We didn't have to sell drugs, but most of us chose to get ourselves out of our economical downfall. So, you know, what happens now? Now we all got criminal records. So now when jobs are available, you got to struggle with immigrants who just got here. You got people in this country who are not even citizens, but come here and get jobs. How do you give jobs to people?
I got to cut in right quick. You know, I think you're making a lot of points. You know, I kind of agree with you about that. A lot of us were here already. You know, I can trace my family history back to West Virginia. The Logan name, I can look that up. I can see where that comes from. There's a place in West Virginia called Logan. That's where my name comes from. And that goes back to the Indian tribes and all of that type of stuff. So I can kind of trace that. I can also trace some of the European and also some of the African that's in me back to the ships. So, but many of us were here. But at the same time, when we were here before the United States was formed, it was no country known as the USA. The Europeans came for better or for worse, and they formed this country called the United States of America. It did not exist before that. Before that, you had different little factions of people, different peoples that were warring with each other, different tribes, different nations within the United States. So there was no one unified country until the Europeans came and did that, for better or for worse.
Yeah, I mean, I got you, though. So do you hello, are you still with me?
I'm with you.
So you believe that you believe that Europeans brought millions of Africans over here on wooden boats across the Atlantic Ocean?
No. I mean, they brought some, but it's not millions.
I'm talking about, but look at because I can show you that there was black judges back in 1750s. How is that possible? How is there black judges back in the 1750s? How do you have your first
we came here first in 1611, Jamestown, Virginia. So we been here way before the colony. We came here when they first came to the colonies in Jamestown, 1611. I live right here in Virginia, so I go there all the time in Jamestown. It's right there up the street. That's when we came. So you're talking about 1750. That's a long time after we came here. We already been from Africa for that long.
You gotta you sound like a very educated, but I want you to check a book out by a guy by the name of Michael Hoffman. It's called They Was White and They Was Slaves. And in his book, it basically details in North America in the 1700s, there were no black slaves. There was all European slaves. I also got another good book for you to check out. It's called The Forgotten Cause of the Civil War, where it shows you that there was millions upon millions of white slaves in this country, and the Civil War was to release them. And once they released them, it was to take the power from a lot of black slave owners that was in the South. So I want you to check them books out. I mean, when first of all, we was told that there wasn't no black people here. So now it's black people here at the same time when you bring, I got the pictures of what
I gotta cut you right there, man. I'm sorry about that. I got a bunch of more calls, but that was a great call you had. Everybody in the chat, check them books out. And if you in the chat, if you're watching in the chat, my man on the line, put them books in the actual chat so everybody can look them up and read them, because that's one thing don't nobody want to talk about is the white slaves. Everybody say, oh, it was just the black man that was slaves. No, it was white slaves too. A lot of them came from Ireland. They got captured by people in the on Britain. They came to Ireland and enslaved them and brought them over here. So that's definitely a good point you made, and I appreciate the call.
Okay, my name is Atancha, this one. You can check me out on YouTube if you can, man. Just check out the etymology of the word slave, too, just to check that out, too, man. You have a good one, though, brother. Nice talking to you.
All right, same to you, man.
No doubt. Peace.
Peace. Shout out to the caller. That's a different kind of call that I normally get, but I appreciate that. There were a lot of white slaves. That's one thing a lot of the Afrocentrists don't want to talk about is the white slaves. They don't want to talk about that. They say, oh, it was just a poor black man. A lot of us were already here in the United States before it became United States, before the slave ships came, but a lot of us did come on the slave ships. And the reality is only about 5% of the slaves brought to the New World were brought here to North America. Most of them were brought to Brazil and to the Caribbean. Alrighty, let's go. I'm gonna take a few more calls here. We've been going on for about 2 hours and 25 minutes. I thank you all for being here through all the technical difficulties and everything else. I had to get my my Ethernet cord hooked up. 215, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
David. Yeah. Hey, listen. I've been watching you here, and I'm looking at the Milo on Bill Maher, and I was just thinking I can't stand that guy Milo Yiannopoulos. So he has a right to speak his mind, and I can't stand the guy because it seems like he's just promotes homosexuality, even though he's considered conservative of sorts. But it's like I remember seeing him with that guy's name, Gavin McLean, or however you pronounce his last name, McGinnis. Yeah, and he did that episode where those two made out. Where they were making out with one another. I'm like, what the hell are these guys trying to prove? I'm like, this is not this. You're just normalizing homosexuality. And I'm not a gay basher or anything like that, but I don't like that normalization of it, making it seem like it's okay. And I didn't even get to see the Bill Maher. I didn't even watch the Bill Maher show. I'm gonna have to go back and watch it. But and this big thing with the Immigrant March, that's just absolute insanity. I wonder if like Mexico is coordinating with people here in the United States to do this, because I mean when they have them all on the border,
good question.
Protesting our president, it's like, oh, wait a second, your president is swamped with corruption, and you're worried about ours. And making a lot of false statements and comments about President Trump in regards to immigration. Wanting to get rid of all these. On the news they're showing everybody. Their ICE is out there and they're busting immigrants. Left and right, which isn't true. They're really hyping it up. It's absolute insanity. But anyway, I heard this guy on the. He talked about he just voted this year, which is kind of funny because I was embarrassed for a long time because I'm 42 now. First time I voted was when was the last election for President Obama, and I didn't vote for him. And then when Trump came up, I was like really started paying attention. Man, I was like really happy that he came in because I felt like he was actually talking to me like a working man, the people. Right. Not just talking to us like we're like customers. I don't even have just that political, that politician mentality. He seemed more real, and he still does today. I absolutely love the way he's speaking to the press because quite frankly they've been extremely disrespectful to him from the get-go. Just calling him a clown and what have you. But that's just a lot of insanity that kids are being raised into now, and it's a darn shame because it's just what they're being indoctrinated to in their colleges. I haven't been to college, but just knowing, looking back from when I was younger, just how impressionable I could be, even when it came to music, and then outgrowing that, but having that instilled at such a young age, I mean, it's going to be really hard to get that out of them. And I hope it doesn't progress in their favor, in that people like you and like Infowars to an extent, and Joseph Watson or Paul Watson, I forget his name. A lot of other guys on YouTube that are out there are doing a lot of positive things, and trying to help keep people focused on the prize. And this last caller I heard, I had to throw something out there. This last guy that called in about Africans not, people here not being from Africa, black people or Indians or whatever.
Right.
I see a lot of that being true. I mean, I like that too. I mean, I see a lot of truth in that. The reparations part, I'm not on the boat with whatsoever. I mean, I'm part Irish, so I can look in the white cardio that he spoke of is what I'm calling it. There's a book called White Cardio, but a lot of what he was saying, it was true. But anyway, I'm kind of rambling on here. I'm not even letting you get a word in edgewise. I have a bad habit of doing that.
Well, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate it.
All right, man. You have a good day.
All right, take care. Shout out to all the callers. I might go ahead and end the chat here pretty soon. I'll give you 5 more minutes because my stream was messing up. I'll probably cut that part out where it was messing up. Thank you all for being here yet again. This will probably be the end, actually. If you don't know me, again, my name is Anthony Brian Logan. You're watching ABL Live. I do this show every Saturday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It lasts for about 2 to 2.5 hours. Live call in. I answer questions in the chat whenever I can. And if you're not subscribed to me yet, click on that button right there and subscribe to me right now. I definitely appreciate it. Also, follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/Anthony B. Logan, twitter.com/ANTHONYLOGAN. Also, go to my Patreon, patreon.com/Anthony B. Logan. That is ANTHONY, Facebook as well. Follow me on there. I got 1 million requests, 1 million messages. But if you want to get in contact with me, go to my website, anthonyblogan.com. If you need graphical web design, do that as well. Go to my website, anthonyblogan.com. Again, that's ANTHONY, BLOGAN. And if you're on desktop, click on the top right-hand corner. You'll see graphic and web design. You can also click on contact to send me an email, and also to donate right there on PayPal. And if you're on a mobile device, click on the little, the little 3-line button. And on the bottom of that, you'll be able to see where you want to go. All right, this will be my last call. 281, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Knock.
Okay. Am I being pranked before we begin?
No, it's just a joke.
All right, who's there?
6 million.
6 million what?
6 million Jews.
I saw that coming. I let him get it out. I'm sorry. I let him get him out. I let it get him out, but whatever. 914, you're on the line. Who's speaking?
Hi.
Hello. Who am I speaking to?
I'm Shay.
All right, Shay. That's your name?
Yes, like SAY.
All right, Shay. What's going on?
Hi. I wanted to talk about the immigration strike that happened on Thursday.
Yes.
So I guess I should tell you about myself. I'm 15.
Alrighty.
So
shout out to the youngins out there calling in, but go ahead.
I'm a sophomore in high school, and I'm Dominican. So my parents are immigrants. My whole family is immigrants. I'm not. I was born in New York, and I still live in New York, which is heavily populated by Hispanics and Latinos. But we're all here legally, obviously. So we're working class, and we're a very good family. And I kind of want to talk about the thing that happened on Thursday, because it's kind of strange to me, because coming from a family whose parents worked so hard, when they were not much older than I am, to be legal citizens in this country, it's kind of almost insulting to be that, and then also have people who just come here and are undocumented and have jobs and stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's kind of why do I have to work so hard to get this status, but you just came here and you have the same things. It's kind of belittling, I guess. So I went to school on Thursday because I didn't really know about the whole thing.
Right.
And I had a lot of friends and like just classmates who just like either didn't show up at all or like skipped like half a day.
Okay.
And I've had like family, and I'm just like, do people not know what the word illegal means?
Right.
You know, like.
See, they try to conflate immigration with illegal immigration to make it seem like, are you just against people that are not from here? See, they try to twist the narrative to make it seem like it's something that it's not. They change it from being against people that are breaking the law from being against certain people in general, which is not.
Yeah, it's kind of like they are what they preach against. Like, they're so sanctimonious. Like, oh, like, look at them, they're so racist because they don't like immigrants. They leave out the most important. It's illegal. It's, you know, like murder is illegal. It's against the law. It's like, it's on the same, you know, it's not as extreme as murder, obviously, but it's kind of in the same, like, it's not.
It's illegal. You know, if you're breaking the law, you're breaking the law, and it's just really it.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
the
doesn't
law's the law.
matter. It doesn't matter if you have family or if you want, because if you really wanted like a good opportunity, then you would have come here the way you should have, and that's what my family did, and we're doing great. Like, I really, like, I get that the process is difficult, but if you want it really bad, then you would, in my head, you know, like, at least I would be able to go through it to have a better life. And I, you know, a lot of my family kind of like hates Trump, and they're like, oh, Trump hates Dominicans, when I've never heard him say that ever.
Right.
It's kind of funny because like when someone like says that, when you speak Spanish and someone says, oh, you know, Mexicans instead of like Hispanics, you kind of get all offended. But then once someone says something about illegal immigrants from the south border, then it's all like, oh, he hates us too. No, not really. I didn't really say anything about us. You know, as long as we're legal, it's okay.
Exactly.
Like, it's like there shouldn't be. And as a student, I'm very like, I don't know, I'm high honor roll and stuff, so I really try to like work hard in school, and I only really see it fit to skip school if you have like a really important event, not a protest, or like if you're sick or something. So, you know, to me it was kind of like pointless, and all my friends came back the next day on Friday and they were like, I just didn't want to go to school, and I used that
exactly. See,
and I'm just like,
I think it was I forget who that was. It might have been not Bill Nye, one of these guys. I forget his name, but he was on Fox News and he was saying he would do protests and stuff like that when he was in school as well. And the point behind him going out there and protesting was not for any kind of cause. It was to go out and have a party, to go out and skip class, to have an excuse to not be doing his work. You see, it's not about anything else. So what you said right there, that happens a lot.
It's so weird, and I go to school in New York, so it's like pretty diverse, and you know, it's like it's kind of weird because like you see, I remember I went to school on the inauguration day, and I just remember like being in class like, I hope no one goes there and like shoots up the place.
Oh no!
Like, I was so scared of like violence, and you know, like the riots and the protests that happened. That was exactly what I was afraid of. And there were kids in my school. There was a ton of kids in my school wearing like Black Lives Matter shirts on that day. And I asked one of the girls who was wearing it, like, why are you wearing that on this day? And she's like, because it's true. And I'm like, okay, the statement is, but I don't agree with the terrorist group. Sorry. That's kind of extreme. It's a hyperbole, but it's pretty much there, you know, when you have their leaders calling for the death of white people and cops. It's like, get out, please. It's really scary for me as like growing up, because it's like, well, what will this be like when I'm an adult? Like, will it be worse when I have to raise my own children? Like, I don't, you know, it's like, you think about stuff in the 60s and you're like, gosh, that was so horrible. I'm so glad we moved past that. And it's like, but why are we still trapped in this like whole race thing in general? Like, because in my mind, it's like, it doesn't matter. I'm 15.
Right.
It really, like, I don't get, and the whole thing about Trump yesterday with that African American associate, I forgot
Yes,
the name.
reporter.
Yeah, like, that is so, it was so gross. Like, they put words in, it's like, why? Like, you're really the racist here. What? Be sitting on your moral high ground when you're not. And it's very worrying. Like, when I have classmates of mine talking about Black Lives Matter, like, oh, we're gonna get you on our side, and it's like, I'm not obligated to be an ally just because I'm a minority, which I don't think so, because I think I'm very privileged, regardless of what anyone may tell me because of my race or my gender. I'm very privileged. Like, you know, I have a bed to sleep on and, like, food to eat. My parents love me, you know, so in my head, that's privilege. Like, I have more than the basic necessities of living. And to me, that's privilege, and it's what I have to bind myself up in shackles just because of the stuff that only goes skin deep. Like, I can't base myself off of my character. I'm always oppressed just because of, like, my outside. Like, it's so like nauseating.
I'm with you on that, but you know, I gotta get to one more last call before I end the stream here. But that was a great call. I appreciate the young people for calling in. You know, I'm glad that my show reaching out to you. And I have a question. Are you in the chat, by the way?
I was like.
What's your name? What was your name in the chat?
Fairdies LPS. FAREDS.
All right. So if you go back in the chat, let everybody know what's going on, who you are. There are a few other young people in there that want to connect with you, because you guys need to kind of sit together and understand that the stuff that's going on in the world from these media conglomerates, you know, a bunch of old people sitting around trying to create division. It does not represent you guys. So, you know, all I can say is just, you know, stay strong, hang in there, and understand that not everybody is like those people in your school that wanted to walk out and that crazy during the so-called immigrant march.
Mm-hmm.
But thank you for the call. I definitely appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
All righty. Shout out to the youngins. Shout out to the young callers. I'm going to give you guys a couple more calls because I had the audio malfunction. 856 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
This is Sean Dirks.
All righty. What's going on? Turn speakers down in the background, please.
Oh, is this Anthony?
Yes, it is.
I'm sorry. I just want to let you know that I really appreciate what you're doing here with your channel and everything.
Yes.
Just to give you a little bit of background, I'm white, obviously, but I'm a libertarian.
All right.
But I was brought up as my father's son, and he's a hardcore Republican.
Right.
Which is cool, you know, but he's also very racist. I do want to admit that.
Okay.
And he is a Trump supporter, but I support Trump too.
Right.
You know, as a libertarian. What I want to say is that I can't help but go into a little bit of identity politics because you're black, you know, and it's almost unheard of for me to encounter someone who is black who feels the same way politically without being like ultra left wing. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's.
Take your time. Do you have a question for me?
I'm a little mixed up, you know, because call on the fly, you know, but I just, you know, a little further background about me. You know, I was brought up with a racist father. I grew up being a racist white kid.
Alrighty.
You know, I didn't know any better. But going through junior high and then through high school, I went from elementary schools that were predominantly white to going to a district in high school that was predominantly black.
Right.
Right. Yeah. And I thought that it would be like the end of the world for me at first. Sort of.
So how did it turn out for you?
Yeah. Turns out that I got, because it was 60% plus black in that school system.
How did it turn out for you, though?
It's amazing that I didn't turn out to be a Klansman.
Oh, so it was bad. You had a bad experience, basically.
At first in junior high, but gradually it evolved into, I grew up and I learned better. The black students also did the same thing. They grew up and they realized they learned better, and it's like, it was pretty much, we're just human beings. We're individuals. We're not defined by the color of our skin. We're not defined by our upbringing or any of that.
Alrighty. I mean, I got to get to a few more calls, man, but do you have a closing statement for me?
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What did you want?
I have to get to a few more calls. Do you have a closing statement for me?
No. No, you can move on.
It's all good, man. Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate it.
Sorry. Thank you.
All right. Hey, man, it's all good. Everybody's not, quick like how I be. But shout out to my man for calling. You guys are wearing me out with the calls in a good way because the phone line has been jumping. Destiny's Child. 303, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, how you doing? This is Matthew from Denver, Colorado.
All right, Matthew, what's going on?
Shit, what's going on? I'm just watching you here. And, I don't know. I seen your title, so I kind of logged in. I'm subscribed to you. It said the Immigrant March, but it seems like you're going to a bunch of different other subjects, which is cool. I wanted to touch in though. Actually, that last dude that called, he seemed a little timid. He said he was white, blah, blah, blah. He sounded a little timid, but be proud to be white. Don't be ashamed of that. It's all good. Don't worry about it.
Be proud of whoever you are. It doesn't matter what you are. Be proud to be who you are.
Yeah, for real. He kind of, like I said, he sounded timid. He said his dad was racist, so I'm sure he probably thought his dad was standing behind him. All that. But, yeah, to the other caller, too, and I'm glad you brought it up. You said whites were also slaves, too.
Yes.
There's a few callers back. You asked for reparations and all that. It was kind of funny to me as I'm watching because a lot of people don't know how many white people died just to free slaves. I'm actually happy as hell that you said that.
Right.
Because you obviously have more intelligence than a lot of people that just get their news info from TI podcasts and stuff like that.
It's the truth. I'm always going to stand up for the truth regardless of who it hurts, who it offends. If it's true, it's true. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, it is. I'm just glad that, I don't know, this doesn't sound racist, but I'm glad to see a black guy that actually speaks his mind. Because where I work, I'm the minority there, and I'm white, and I got to talk to a lot of hard-headed. I work in the hood where I'm at.
Right.
And I voted for Trump, and God damn it, you can only imagine the shit I hear.
Careful with the cussing.
White boy, oh, my fault, I'm sorry. White boy, blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, dude, listen. A lot of them, a lot of younger black guys are just, it's what their dad and their mom taught them. They never got past that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, because I was the same way. I'm not sure if you've heard me talk about it before, pardon me, but I was a hardcore liberal because of how I grew up, people I grew up around. Yeah. I grew up in mostly all black areas until I got to high school, and it was still kind of a mostly black area. So that's all I ever knew. And then I just grew up and had to just grow out of it. Had to examine myself, examine my surroundings, do a lot of reading and research, a lot of soul searching, and come to the truth. But a lot of people have not done that, and it's unfortunate.
Yeah, and as myself, I grew up in Massachusetts, and I was a Democrat up until about 22. I'm 36 right now.
Right.
And I was a Democrat because my mom told me to.
Right.
And I grew up on welfare my whole life up until I was 18. And I'll just make this point. I've never heard this. I'm the youngest out of my brother. I grew up in Massachusetts. I was brainwashed to be Democrat, blah, blah, blah. In Massachusetts, East Coast Democrat, which is way harsher than West Coast Democrat. And it was be Democrat, they help you. As soon as I turned 18, I'll tell you this, my mother did so much better once she wasn't approved for government assistance.
Right.
Once she started having to work for herself, got her own place, had a car for the first time, paid taxes. Even if that actual, I don't know if it makes sense, but that check, like for working, she didn't get the Section 8. She didn't get it was food stamps back then, but when I was 18, it turned into the Quest card. But once she couldn't get government assistance after I turned 18, she did so much better once she started working for herself.
Absolutely, because what that welfare does, what that government assistance does, it kind of keeps you at that level of the assistance. You don't really, take steps to better yourself because you have this right here. So it's like, okay, this is good enough. This is good enough what I'm doing right here. But then once that's not available to you anymore for whatever reason, it forces you to go out there and use more of whatever gifts you have innately to become better.
Yes, exactly. And like I said, I promise, after I turned 18, she did so much better for herself. It was crazy. We never had a car growing up. We were the broke kids that got made fun of. After 18, it was crazy.
Absolutely.
She did so much better for herself. I might be rambling on and everything like that, but I'll just end it right here. But I commented earlier too. I don't want to bring this up right now, but I do think there's two podcasts you should make. One, somebody brought up earlier, bring the Pizzagate up. I don't know. That's a big. That's a lot to get into. That's huge to get into. But I've been watching every day about the Chicago stuff. I think that should be brought up more than all this immigration, all this other bullshit, building the wall. I think Chicago should be brought up more than anything right now because there is literally a whole generation dying in one city, and it's sad to me to watch.
Absolutely, man. I definitely agree with you on there, man. But I'm gonna get to a few more calls. Matter of fact, you're probably gonna be the last call except for one more. So thank you for the call. That's a great way to kind of wrap up the show. Definitely appreciate you.
Yeah, go ahead. Do your thing. I'm glad to watch you.
All right, then. Take care.
All right, you too.
All right. I know I said this earlier, but this is gonna be my last call for real this time. Last call.
All right.
702. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, how you doing? My name is Jeremy. I've watched your show a number of times before in your videos, and I have to admit, you're one of the better analysts, and I have to admit that I'm really surprised because it's very hard to come across intelligent people now, and I just want to know what got you into it, what made you a conservative, what really drives you, why do you keep doing all this, and do you plan on running for junior office like city councilman, or maybe even take it further than that? Because truthfully, the amount of, where I live anyway, I'm on the West Coast, I don't want to say where, people are very biased, polarized, and hard to deal with. And truthfully, even-headed guys like you are the ones that I'd rather vote for than anybody else. So what's your opinion on that?
Okay, so was that one question or was that a few?
A few, I'm sorry.
It's all good because I'm trying to keep track of them. It's kind of hard. So I know the first one was about why did I become a conservative? Was that right?
Yeah, I in my view, let me give you my story on this one. I used to be a liberal, but when I was 19, I noticed that they were very hypocritical and they would lie. So I kind of had to walk away from them. and I see more and more of that coming from them now than ever before. What was your driving purpose? Like, what were you ever liberal or?
Yes, I was. But what happened was I was a liberal. Like I just said on the previous call, what happened was, I grew up mostly all black areas. I lived in 90% black areas until I turned, I'd say about 14. And then at that point, I still lived in a mostly black area, probably about 50% black area. Mostly black schools, majority black schools. So all I ever knew was like leftist kind of ideology, even though my parents were from West Virginia, which is extremely conservative, but not so much politically. So I grew up as kind of a conservative socially, but politically it was all Democrat, Democrat, Democrat. So that's all I ever knew. But then once I started to do a lot of reading and research into politics as I got older, I realized that a lot of their points of view lined up with who I was, you see, because I was already kind of conservative from my upbringing, from my parents, right? But then once I never really thought about my political stance being different. But then once I started doing more reading and research, I did understand that. I did discover that. So when I discovered that, that's when I became more of a conservative.
That's good, man. I suppose one of the things that I'm into was, I don't know, I've been around so many liars in the city that I couldn't do it anymore. They just kept lying and lying and lying, and I couldn't deal with it. So I just walked away from them, became more of a moderate.
Right.
And now I've kind of shifted over to a conservative leaning because they aren't the ones who are lying as much anymore. But, I don't know. I know Trump said a few inflammatory things. He said all Mexicans are rapists. I mean, it's true that...
He didn't say that.
Well, he said something similar to it. I mean, it sounded that. The Department of Justice and the Border Patrol, they've made it clear that a good portion of the women that cross illegally are exploited. So it is true, and that's one of the reasons why the border wall is needed, along with all the narco-terrorism. But, I don't know. I just wanted to hear your point of view. That's all. I'm sorry, man. And when it comes to, do you plan on running for office? Because, where I live, everybody's diehard Democrat, and some of these guys are just, they're surprisingly stupid. For men with college degrees, I've heard a few of them.
I may run. I'm not really sure. I've been getting that question a lot. I get that question almost every day. What I've said in the past, I'll repeat. What I'll do, I know people around here that are involved with politics. I know people that are, city council, school board, etc. I'm gonna just kind of keep my ears to the street and see what's going on, and then once I decide if it's good to go or not, I may run. Maybe in a couple of years I'll run. But that's definitely something I'm thinking about doing, and it could potentially happen.
All right. Well, I just thank you. The reason being, I just found a video from Ben Shapiro, and they kept asking him whether or not he was going to run. And I've been thinking about involving myself in local politics, but I may have to move because it's so diehard blue. I don't think I'll get anywhere.
Right.
And I'll just call for support. I've seen a number of your videos. I just want you to stay strong and know that I support you and others support you, and we're here to help, So just keep doing what you do, and thank you.
Thank you for the call and the support. Definitely appreciate you.
Have a good day, sir.
All right, now, same to you. All right, that'll be the wrap from my show. Thank you all for being here. Definitely appreciate you. I did a little bit of overtime this time. It's usually right around 2.5 hours, but I did a little bit of overtime this time because it had some audio problems. I'll probably edit that a little bit later. You can edit videos on YouTube, by the way. You can cut out certain stuff. So I'll probably take out that portion where it messed up. So if you replay it, you'll be able to replay it all the way through. Like if you download it or whatever, listen to it while you're riding a bike or you're at work or whatever, it'll play all the way through. So that should happen probably by tomorrow. That's probably how long it'll take for the edit to actually happen. So I thank you all for being here. Again, my name is Anthony Brian Logan. You've been watching ABL Live. I do this show every Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's usually right around 2.5 hours. You can call in live. You can also leave me messages in the chat. I definitely appreciate all of you for being very supportive. If you like what you've been hearing so far, please follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/Anthony B. Logan. That's ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN. Also, if you want to donate, put some ducats in the bucket, go to my Patreon page. That's patreon.com/Anthony B. Logan. And also in the description box, there should be some links to my Patreon and my PayPal. If you want to do things privately, you can also go to my website, anthonyblogan.com, to look at my graphic design, web design work, which I also do. and also to send me an email if you have any kind of question you want to ask me directly, or if you have music you want to send me that is copyright free, so I won't get striked here on YouTube, because I'll send it to my email. And I'm gonna give a shout out to my mods. We got Dan Larkin, Asif, Cynthia Webb, Pia Reza, Hillbilly Swart, Catherine K, Edward Wesson, Zealand Zen, Dina Jones, and Lucha Milo. Thank you all for being moderators. Thank you all for being here. And I appreciate all of y'all in the chat. So until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out. Peace.